right. Welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right. I'm loaded with tea tonight. So we're going to be talking. Welcome back, tribe. We are a tribe. Um, okay. I want to do something because I don't know, some of y'all may have heard me say that I'm big on community. And for What She Said Sports initiatives next year, want to have more community, right? Um, so I'm asking people today to think of one achievement, one of your biggest achievements. Doesn't have to be spectacular, but it's the one achievement that comes to mind when you think about and reflect. What have I accomplished this year that I'm proud of? That you're willing to share with us in the comments. So I want you to post an achievement. So let's pretend that this is a table. Let's pretend that this is an achievement table, and you come to the table, but you're going to go to the comments and you're going to tell us one of your biggest achievements. And when I get to the comment section, I'm going to share it and we're going to celebrate you. Okay. So this is the achievement table. It's just virtual. So come to the achievement table, share, and I will celebrate it. I will share it with the community so we can celebrate you as a community. All right. So that's what I want to do as we are getting ready to close out the year. All right. So moving on. There's some good tea out here, Coach Prime and Karuchi. And then picked up on something when you probably have watched Shiloh and at his dad's house. I picked up on something. I want to talk about that. And Shedeur Sanders gave out his address. Go to his stories and copy and paste his address. So it's his post office box. Remember, he didn't get a lot of Christmas gifts. So let's load up and send Shedeur a gift. Doesn't have to be expensive. Doesn't have to be, it could be creative. Hell, you can go to Dollar Tree if you know his favorite candy or something like that. It don't matter. Just go show Shedeur some love. Go to his IG. He already put his post office box in there. And I have it too. Let's see if I can share it. So I was thinking of what do I want to send Shedeur? A ticket to another team. But I can't do that, right? So I don't have no power. Not like that. I don't have that kind of power. But some of y'all gonna say, well, we'll just pray for him. That's cool. Just do that. But here it is right here. This is Shedeur's address. Go to his stories and or screenshot that. I'll see if I can put it on the screen before we disband today. And send him some gifts. I'm gonna read it out loud. I'll read the address out loud. But if y'all like me, when I saw his address, he posted it from his account. I made sure it was his account because I know he will post it and it's not a scam. All right. It says Post Office Box 6088, Cleveland, Ohio. The zip code, Harold Fannin Jr., 44101. That's cute. So Post Office Box 6088, Cleveland, Ohio, 44101. So he about to have the post office on fire because I'm sending him some stuff. Y'all send Shedeur a Christmas gift. Mine not going to be wrapped in no Christmas paper. But, it's going to be addressed to Shedeur Sanders at that address. Let's see if I remembered it real fast. Shedeur Sanders, Post Office Box 6088, Cleveland, Ohio, Harold Fannin Jr., 44101. Got it. All right. So show Shedeur some love. All right. We're going to be talking about Myles Garrett. I had 2 polls circulated today. We'll be looking at the results of those. And I asked the question, so we're going to be talking about that. One of the questions I asked out loud today was, what former Colorado wide receiver would you want to team up with Shedeur Sanders? Now, a lot of these receivers, quarterbacks, most important position on the team, have that kind of motion, that kind of pull. And unfortunately, Shedeur don't have it yet. But maybe he'll have it next year. So out of the receivers that are eligible to be in the NFL, because I really wanted to say Omarion, because I was watching his highlights today. Omarion is a dog. I hate he gone. I'm still cheer for him. But he's one of the former receivers from Colorado overall that I would want to see team up with Shedeur, but he's not declaring for the league this year. A few people have declared for the NFL today. We're going to talk about that from Colorado. One might surprise you. No, I think he hopping in the transfer portal. So we'll talk about some news over at Colorado too. What else I want to talk about? Myles Garrett. Shout out to Myles Garrett. I think it was his birthday, and he has some things to say, which reminds me of why it is that I like Myles Garrett because he not gonna mince words or bite his tongue. He is a leader, right? So we're gonna talk about his comment today. I have a clip of it. We'll be listening to that. People were thinking about Kevin Stefanski a lot today because, you know, they asked him what he thought about, did he want to come back and work there next year at Cleveland? And his comment was what it always is, dancing around the question. He said, I'm privileged to have this job. I'm like, well, at least you know you benefiting from cronyism. I mean, at least you know that that's what it is. Because, you know, Kevin Stefanski likes to tell. He likes to tell, hi, I'm here because, you know, my dad. I'm here because of nepotism. I'm here because of cronyism, right? That's just what it is. And he said, I'm privileged to have his job. In other words, I'll be back here. So that made me ask my question. Actually, that's why I came up with the caption for today's video about why trading Shedeur Sanders is the best move. So let's get into it. All right. First and foremost, Coach Prime and Karuchi. They look cute together, but that's not what we're talking about. So Coach Prime and Karuchi were in the tunnel, and Bucky was asking them some questions, or, you know, behind the scenes at the game. And it's on Well Off Media. Go check it out. And I noticed Coach Prime, you know, Bucky asked Karuchi, and did she have a good Christmas? And she said, you know, she had an amazing Christmas. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. This woman she adores Coach Prime. She loves this man, because if you pay attention to the video at the house that Shiloh made, she was pulling on his robe string, and then she touches on him a lot. And when she was at the game, she was touching on him when she was saying she had an amazing Christmas. And Coach Prime was saying, you know, she said she got some good gifts. And Coach Prime was like, yeah, she got some good gifts. But then he threw this out here. He said, and there's something about layaway. I was like, oh, layaway. Layaway is for, even though they still have layaway, but layaway, in case y'all don't know, is when you put something away and you make payments on it. And generally, people used to do it for Christmas with their kids' Christmas toys, but I don't know if they still do that. Walmart used to have layaway. I don't know if they had a whole layaway department. I remember seeing it at the store. I was going to the bathroom and I was like, oh, they have layaway, because a lot of people did away with layaway. So what Coach Prime said is something on layaway, and she was still talking, and she said, layaway? I was like, because we know Coach Prime don't need to put nothing on layaway because he got it like that, right? So there's speculation that he either already proposed or he's planning to propose. I say go for it, because, you know, life is fleeting, is short. She's clearly into him, right? That is why they had a Christmas tree. Now, I don't know if it's true. It's been 10 years since they had a tree, and he said something about court was happening, so I guess he wasn't in the mood for that. But there's something on layaway. Coach Prime don't need to put nothing on layaway. I'm just saying it. It must be a lot of carrots. It is a lot of carrots. And she was like, wait, layaway. And she is so funny. And, you know, people don't understand. You know, people are stuck. Like, I was on her page and somebody was going at her because of the age difference. I'm like, mind your damn business. Just mind your business. I mean, I said it. She's almost 40. I know she got a gray hair somewhere. He's almost 60. So they're at a pivot in their lives where she's getting ready to be in a different place in her career. So is he. He might actually be changing careers at some point, right? Media jobs or something like that. You can see that he likes the way she looks at him. And fellas, if your woman don't look at you like that, or when you come through the door, she ain't, hey, babe, how you doing? I'm telling you, get you somebody that looks at you like that, and they got their own stuff, so they're not looking at you for your stuff, right? Now, I saw her little cute bag, so yeah, she had a good Christmas, but it's the small things that she does when people aren't paying attention, the way she touches on him, or the way that, you know, she's looking at him, and how she likes the fact that she spent time with the Sanders family, but then we spent time with my family too. She loved that. That's what she wanted. She wanted a man that takes the time for her. That's what matters. So, of course, she shows up for him, right? And then he does the things that she likes. That's a relationship. And one day it's gonna switch. It's gonna flip off. He gonna have to show up for her for whatever, right? And then she gonna have to be there. I'm just saying, like that's what a relationship is, give and take. And he takes time for her. He don't have to. Remember, Coach Prime used to say he was married to his job. Well, apparently, God might want him to be married to a woman because things are changing. And I caution people who say, well, he said, this and he went through that. Okay, it's called healing. It's called healing, damn it. And so he got some on layaway. And I can't wait to see what it is. I just want to know how many. Is it 19 carats? Is it going to be 10? Is it 12? Because Coach Prime don't need to put nothing on layaway at all. So it sounds like there's an engagement coming. But I can see just looking at the two of them and the way he walks and holds her hand and, they side by side. Even when the camera, when it's crazy, the cameraman is hilarious. The cameraman at the game, when Jerry Jeudy decided to hide behind the defender, Coach Prime took his hat and put it in his face because he probably, like us, was like, yeah, you can't trust Jerry Jeudy to catch the ball. That's probably what he was thinking. Karuchi was just putting some lotion on her hand. She was looking at what happened, right? She's comfortable. He's comfortable, right? And understand this, right? It's clearly something God wants to happen because it happened. So just leave these people alone. And I can't wait to find out what the hell is on layaway. I just want to know how many carats it is. Okay, so that's Karuchi and Coach Prime. Go watch it. Let's get to Shiloh. All right, so if you watch Well Off Media, because I know y'all did, because we're Shaduerians and we support the family. I mean, we could be Shilohans too, but I don't know if that's a thing yet. They were talking about the Christmas gift, and Karuchi said she didn't know Shiloh was coming. She got him a nice gift, like a sweatsuit or whatever. And, he embraced her and told her to stand up and gave her a hug and all that stuff like that. But he was talking about he only had the one gift. Then he was by Coach Prime and hugged him for the gift. And that's when it was said that I got something else for you. And he said, oh, okay. I'm like, you know what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is. I mean, when your family is wealthy like that, right? You get stuff, right? And, Shiloh not playing ball no more. So Coach Prime just might want to just, show him some love in a monetary form. But I figured that that's what it is. And y'all probably heard it. So let me know if y'all thought that that's what it was. But I'm pretty sure that that's what it is because he's not playing ball. So, but he making money though. And I think about Shiloh a lot because I always see Shaq and his son, Sharif, and how Sharif ended up working for Reebok and, and stuff like that. But Shiloh, doing his own thing. And I say it all the time. I think those two need to collab every now and then. Sharif and Shiloh, I think they need to collab because it's not just that they were athletes that no longer play a sport and have pivoted to something else in life. These two are close to their fathers too, right? And because they no longer are in athletics and their fathers, are giants in the respective sports that they played, legends even, I think it would be great every now and then for them to do something together. But Shiloh got a gift from his father that wasn't under the tree, and it's probably too big to fit under the tree anyway. So for those of you that thought, now it's just one was under the tree. And that's what people do when they don't know you coming. Did y'all ever have a grandparent or go to somebody's house and they wasn't expecting you for Christmas and they be like, baby, I didn't get you nothing, and they gave you cash? You see? That's what I'm talking about. Somebody actually posted on IG, my boyfriend grandmother gave me $20 for Christmas, because that's what they do. Baby, I didn't know you was coming. I didn't get you anything. They go in their purse and they get cash. So Shiloh has likely already been blessed. The wire transfer probably showing on up. So don't worry about it. But y'all go send Shaduer some gifts. I gave out the address. I'm going to give it out one more time. I already know it. I already know it, but I want to make sure. Shaduer didn't get a lot of gifts. This is address. Go check his page. You can verify it. Address it to Shedeur Sanders, Post Office Box 6088, Cleveland, Ohio 44101. All right, so that's that on that. All right, so who's in here? We got a lot of people in here already, 166 of us. Hit the like button. All right, don't forget, this is the achievement table. List one achievement that you want to share. One of your biggest achievements of 2025 that you want to share, and I'm going to get to it. All right, let's get over to the polls before we get to the business of the Cleveland Browns. So I had some polls running, and I'm going to share them with y'all. We're going to talk about this. And then we're going to talk about why it's best that Shaduer is traded. Here we go. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. So first and foremost, the question was Shedeur Sanders. Make sure y'all can see it. Okay. Shedeur Sanders has outplayed quarterback veterans Josh Allen, Geno Smith, and Aaron Rodgers. It said with one game remaining in the regular season, should Shedeur Sanders start at QB1 for week 18 versus the Bengals? Rest or only play limited, meaning like maybe 2 quarters. Okay, so the responses are QB1. He should, if you check QB1, it's because you think he should play in the last game. Rest is an option, and then play only 2 quarters. As you can see, overwhelmingly, people said 87% said. How many people responded? This was 21 hours ago. 283 votes. So 87% of people said he should play. Okay. So 87% of people say Shaduer should play the last game versus the Bengals. 7% said he should rest. And we're going to go to the comments because they told us why he should rest. And then 6% of the people actually said he should only play limited, like for 2 quarters. All right. So let's take a look at why they said the things that they said. Okay. Shout out to Jam. It said Shaduer should ride that momentum and finish strong and build that resume. And John 2 said QB1 should finish the season strong. And RD said he could have a career-ending injury with his O-line. My vote is to rest. He doesn't have anything else to prove. Interesting. That's good perspective. And clearly he doesn't have anything else to prove. And he could get injured. So that's a good point. Shout out to RD for the good points. It said He-Man said trial through combat. The captain goes down with the ship. He has to lead. All right. So that means that he thinks Shaduer should play. Shout out to He-Man. Okay. It's a Fat Even. It's that quarterback 1, Shaduer Sanders. All right. Fat said he should am I reading that right? Yeah, that he should play. Okay. All right. And who is this? Cannibal said 100%. I guess I don't know what's the response to that one. It said if he finishes with an interception, that will be the narrative the whole season. Let him sit to save him from himself and let him be the starter for 2026 with a full camp. Okay, so who is that? Key of Life said he should sit because he might throw an interception and that's going to end badly. That's different. And it says, why would he rest or only play part of the game? The Browns have nothing to save him for. The only reason to sit is fear of injuries. He needs reps. But if they decide to start the season off now, that's the decision between him and the coaching staff. I mean, yeah, I get that, but I was just curious to know people's thoughts. And what was overall thought there by Sonic Boom? Why would he rest? Okay, so they think he should play. That's what I got from that. Okay, Tammy. Tammy said 10 comments and so much discontent. My gosh, just answer the question. She did not ask for stats. Agreed. I didn't ask for stats. I started to on this other poll go, don't overthink it, just yes or no. Don't overthink it, just yes or no. And I said, thank you, Tammy, and just kind of LOL. It said, no, he hasn't outplayed anybody. He has thrown 10 interceptions and 5 starts, and he has a lot to work on. Oh, okay. That wasn't even the options there, but okay. 14 people replied. I don't even want to see what 14 people said because I know it's crazy because I don't think that's what we was focusing on. But that's how people are in the comments. They gonna let you know what they think. So that's that one. And let's go over. Oh, I posted this. I don't know if y'all saw it. I asked y'all was Harold Fanning Jr. and Shaduer becoming the dynamic duo. And most people said, yeah, they could see it, right? Again, some people overthought the question, but hey, here we go. So another dynamic duo, I believe, is these two right here. Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Let me know. All right, so this was the question I asked today. It said, which former Colorado wide receiver should team up with Shedeur Sanders next season? And 215 people responded in 4 hours. 4 hours. The options were LaJohntay Wester, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., and Zay Weaver. There were only 4 options. I would have put Omarion on here, but there's no space. And he not coming out yet anyway. So by process of elimination, it's these 4. Overwhelming people said 36%, kind of almost split. Travis Hunter, 36%. Okay, all right, makes sense, right? Who was next? 25% said Jimmy Horn Jr. Now, I figured people would have said Jimmy Horn Jr. because that's what I would say. I would say Jimmy Horn Jr., Omarion, then I would say Travis. And then 22% said Zay Weaver, and only 17% said Wester. I find that surprising because a lot of people felt like Wester was good because he was you could use him in multiple ways. I never really looked at Wester as a pure slot receiver, so I felt like he was a toss-up, I would say, between a Jimmy Horn Jr. and a Will Shepherd. That's just how I looked at it, right? I didn't even have Will Shepherd on here. Again, not enough choices, not enough choices. All right, so that's that on that. All right, so that's what people were saying in the community on the polls to the public for everybody to talk about. So y'all let me know the thoughts in the comments what y'all think about that. Okay, 177 of us hit the like button, Now we're gonna move on to Myles Garrett. Yes, this Myles Garrett birthday. Y'all know he the leader of the defense. He still didn't get his half a sack, but he did tie the record. But he said some things. And shout out to Joy, somebody Joy on X that sent this my way because I didn't hear him say this, but let's take a listen. This is important. Myles Garrett let it be known. He ain't with the BS. He not with the tanking, basically. He say he not with the tanking. That's basically what he's saying, but we're going to listen to this. I'm not mad at Myles Garrett, right? Like, these players didn't sign up for this. And if the preseason doesn't matter and we got, the end of the season and you want to act like it doesn't matter, I mean, damn, right? I didn't go to school all these years and fight to climb to the top to take a dive for draft picks. And that's exactly what Myles Garrett is talking about. So let's listen. And y'all let me know what y'all think about this because, he didn't have to say this. He didn't have to say it. He didn't have to say any of this. And, they don't really get to speak out like that. So I thought this was courageous, and I want to see what's going to come of it.
No one signed to lose. No one signed up to lose at all. So I don't care what the situation is with the record. Not a single one of us want to line up and lay down to a team or a man that's in front of us. We got put here in this place or selected, whatever it was, drafted to come here and win. Has it always been that way? No. But I'll be damned if I'm just going to go out there and lay down to another team just because we want some more draft picks. That's not me.
He said, in case you didn't hear it, I'll be damned if I go out there and lay down because they want to get some more draft picks. That's not who I am. What y'all think about them apples? He said, I'll be damned if I go out there and lay down because they want more draft picks. You see what I'm talking about? So that tanking conversation that people have, people need to understand something. The Browns ain't even tanking, right? But what he's saying is, I'm not with that. And I think a lot of the players should stand up against that, right? And the fans should definitely revolt against it. Why? They not giving you no discount on these tickets because they tanking. They want you to pay full price. And I said this, that's cheating the players who have to go out here and bust their butts to stay at the top of the game or be involved on the team. Only 53 can be on the roster. And you want us to compete to make the roster, but you want us to lay down so you can do what? Get some more draft picks? Who does that? And I know people are like, that's okay because that's exactly what happened to, what's his name? Brian Flores. They incentivized him to lose, which means they bribed him. They bribed him with money or something, but he was bribed so he could lose. What do you think they want to lose for? Probably some draft picks. And he was winning. And somebody came to the comments and said, yeah, that's why we didn't get Joe Burrow. I'm like, that ain't why you didn't get Joe Burrow. You probably wasn't going to get him no way. So everybody can't be the number one pick. So I don't like the idea. I'm with Myles Garrett. These guys work too hard for the league itself to ask certain teams or incentivize players and coaches to lose games so they can get some more draft picks. That's a rat chasing its tail on a hamster wheel. No. When does it end? Everybody gonna want draft picks every year. You're supposed to compete to be put in a position for certain draft picks. You don't choose to be sorry for 5 or 10 years so you can just cycle through draft picks and tell your fan base, oh, we're tanking, or let your fan base believe, oh, they're tanking. No, they're not. They just didn't want to win at this particular time in history. That's all it is. They don't want to look back, and this where we are right now is history. So I'm with Myles Garrett. Happy birthday to him. And he know there's gonna likely be some retaliation, and he don't care because he like, I'm not with that. He said, that's not who I am. I'm not gonna go out there and just do nothing because you want draft picks. But there are a lot of people that will. So this made me think about, so shout out to Myles Garrett. This made me think about what I was doing right before I went live. So y'all know the book Turf Wars by DeMaurice Smith. And Mr. DeMaurice Smith, if you ever see this, I'm getting ready to DM you. Chapter 3 of Turf Wars talks about Kill the Head. That's the name of it, Kill the Head. And they're talking about Bountygate, right? And he's talking about that the Saints were incentivizing players to hurt the opposing team. I think at one time it was the 49ers. They were trying to, as they said, take off Frank Gore's head. Frank Gore was a running back, I believe. And, you know, this was the signal to know that there would be an extra incentive for the players to hurt Frank Gore. They didn't just want to take him out the game. They said, if you hurt the body, you will eventually kill the head. I'm like, gosh. So DeMaurice Smith was talking about how he's like, this can't be right. There's no way that this is what's going on. He said there's always been an honor code in the NFL because the game is already violent, that you don't intentionally try to physically harm somebody so they can no longer play the sport. And I got to thinking. I said, I wonder what DeMaurice Smith, the author of Turf Wars, thinks about everything that's going on with Shaduer, how we see the O-line allowing pressures excessively, how he's the most pressured quarterback, right? I wonder what he thinks, because he was around when Bountygate happened, and he talked about how when players started talking, a Saints player told, another player on another team what they were doing. And that person told another person, and that person told another person. Remember what I say, when a lot of people is involved in some criminal, somebody gonna talk. And then eventually it got to DeMaurice Smith, and guess what he did with the information? He went to Roger Goodell. This is in chapter 3 of Turf Wars, if you have the book. And he told Roger Goodell about it, and he said he never heard back. He said he's sure, and this is how he said it. He said, I told Roger Goodell about it, and I'm sure he had to go and take the temperature of his overlords. He refers to the people above Roger Goodell, and y'all know who they are. It's about 32 of them, as overlords. That Roger Goodell can't do nothing without the overlord's consent. So guess what happened? He said he told them about it, and nothing ever happened. He said, and he was working on, I guess, the collective bargaining agreement. So he said he kind of forgot about it. He just put it out of his mind. He said he told himself, okay, well, maybe there was nothing to it. Maybe the person that told them Childress, was mistaken or whatever. So he went on to other things. And then what happened? The New York Post or the New York Times, I think, after an investigation by the NFL, posted this story about Bountygate, the scandal. And so apparently there was like 18,000 documents on how bad it was. And they named everybody. Like Greg Williams was, I guess, the defensive coordinator. And it's funny how it rests on the Williams guy. And Cam Ward was one of those people they were targeting. And what did he say? Hurt the body, you killed the head. They wanted to get these people out, not just out the game, out the sport. That's the crazy part. And you got like $1,100 for a hit. and based on the severity, and they do this, you get more money. Yeah, this is what the Saints were doing. So I got to thinking. I said, okay, I'm a DM Mr. DeMaurice Smith because I want to know, and I don't know if he's going to tell me, but maybe he'll go talk about it publicly while he's on his book tour. I want to know what he thinks about what is happening to Shaduer with the O-line. Jerry Jeudy, 68, 72, 75, 78. The center. I want to know what he thinks, since Shaduer is the most pressured quarterback, and you have several people on the team conspiring to make sure that his stats aren't good. Jerry Jeudy put the interceptions on him, Jerry Jeudy and Cam Robinson, allowing him to be pressured and sacked. That's everybody that I mentioned. Blowing assignments and everything. And I want to ask him what he thinks about it. And then can he kind of see that they're working together? Because if Bountygate was a real thing and those players were paid to hurt other people, and understand the guy that talked about, Greg Williams, he don't work in HR. It ain't no way he went and told HR, I want you to pay bonuses for hitting other people. So that had to come from higher up. And again, I don't know how Sean Payton still has a job, because we're hearing about the defense, but what was happening on offense? And since this already happened in the NFL, and supposedly nothing was done about it, we don't know what made them investigate Bountygate. But he said it never got back to him. And he was over the NFL Players Association. Why wouldn't you respond to the man if he come to you about it? And then New York Times, I think, is who got the story. And then all the information just came out and it was public. I want to know if it's feasible, if it's also possible. Remember, I told y'all there's a whistleblower around in Cleveland somewhere that certain players, I ain't gonna call no names, certain players are working with the coaches, and they have been, like Brian Flores, incentivized for certain things to happen, like Bountygate, incentivized for certain outcomes. If Bountygate existed, and it did, and it's well documented, it is very possible that the next scandal is happening in Cleveland, where Shaduer is the quarterback, and you have several members of the team, just like Bountygate, who may have potentially been incentivized, aka bribed, to do what? Ensure the quarterback can't perform at his best. Let me know your thoughts. So shout out to Myles Garrett for telling us that he not with that. And shout out to DeMaurice Smith for writing that book and telling all of us how it really goes in the NFL. So I would suggest that you get a copy or go on Spotify if you have a premium membership and listen to it for free. It might be on Apple Books too, if they have that, wherever you get your audio books. Again, I'm on chapter 3. So I'll be back with more information. But I'm just curious to see what y'all think about that. And you would think, because Bountygate already happened, right? You would think the NFL would do everything possible. The term he used is the NFL takes player safety seriously. I was like, no. So if the NFL takes player safety seriously, why are they allowing the O-line to set Shaduer up to be injured? These ain't just about sex. Yes, the game is violent. But like DeMaurice Smith said, there's an honor code. He started off chapter 3 talking about how players were fined for hits on Brett Favre. And Shaduer can barely get rough in the passer. So something could have been done. Because according to DeMaurice Smith, the NFL takes player safety seriously. And fines can be handed out. Keep that in mind. We got one more game to go. People pointed out how Kevin Stefanski is, why he talking so nice about Shaduer. And, I was like, because probably he want to come back or he want to get a job somewhere else. Anybody that tell you I'm privileged to have this job and they a Nepo baby is kind of basically telling you I'm probably going to be right here or I'm going to be somewhere else because I'm privileged. That's all he's saying. It's called cronyism. That means you have your job regardless of your talent, regardless of your skill set. It's because of who you know and the relationships that you have. People say Nepo baby, but it's called cronyism. It's a thing. So Stefanski was telling people, I'll be here if that's what I want to be. That's what I want to be. Because I think he probably wanted to try to see if he can get another job. Remember, Stefanski's one of the lowest paid coaches out here. So if he goes to another team, he's going to make more money. But I do think it should be investigated if Stefanski himself, just like Bountygate, has been incentivized to ensure that the quarterback on his own team, not the opposing team, is not allowed to perform to the quarterback's highest skill set. And if there's been some type of incentive to get him hurt because of what happened with stepping on the quarterback hand by his own teammates. Some people call it friendly fire. Again, when you hear DeMaurice Smith say the NFL takes players' safety seriously, and nobody outside of that one interview talked about that, or there was no fine, or they just swept it under the rug as if everybody knew about it and we'll get him next time. That's just what it's given. And what happened in this game? 68 allowed a Steelers player to pop Shaduer in the back. They know he has a back injury. But the NFL takes player safety, including the quarterback, especially the quarterback, very seriously, unless the quarterback is Shedeur Sanders, who the overlords took off the draft board. So it should be investigated to see if there's some type of bounty to harm Shedeur Sanders or make sure he can't perform at his highest level. All right, so that all came out about today. We're just gonna have to keep tabs on Myles Garrett because he know they like to retaliate. So I think that's what it is. He's just gonna have to be careful. People will notice how Aaron Rodgers went up to Shedeur Sanders and was just really talking. I mean, that's just what the quarterbacks do. So I didn't really make too much of it. I want to tell y'all about this though. There's something else that's kind of happening here. Remember, if you are a member, you heard me talk about the connection to the Miami Dolphins. You know about what I was saying, that there could have been something getting ready to happen before the Miami GM was fired. So it looks like I might be onto something, because it said today that the Browns have met with former GM Chris Grier. That's the guy we were talking about in the members only video when we were talking about Shedeur Sanders potentially going to Miami, but they fired the GM, this guy right here on your left, facing left, Chris Grier. They fired him on October 31st, Halloween, trick or treat, just days before the trade deadline. Remember, if you remember, go watch that video. This is the guy. So the guy that I was talking about pops up, and it seems that they might want to bring him into the organization for adding senior voices. Isn't that something? The two people I was saying could be involved in the trade, Andrew Berry, who's supposedly elevating, and this guy, Chris Grier. And now, supposedly Andrew Berry is taking over the ship or something like that. And they're looking at bringing in some senior voices, wisdom and all type of leadership. I get it. And here comes this guy again. Couldn't go to Cleveland, couldn't go to Miami, so you bring Miami to Cleveland? What y'all think about that? If you saw the video, what you think about that? I don't even know who the other guy is, so I didn't even worry about it. But I just thought it was interesting that Chris Grier's name popped up. I thought it was interesting because we were talking about this guy, and here he is. And we were talking about this guy in Miami, and Cleveland and Miami, and Shaduer, and here this guy gets fired, and here it is. They talking to him about adding a senior voice to the Cleveland Browns. I find that very, very interesting. Very interesting. So let me know what you think about that. I'm getting ready to hop over to the comments and kind of see what y'all got going on. I'm talking about, the last thing I'm talking about is why Shaduer should move on. There are 223 of us. Let me take y'all's temperature right quick. I'm just going to grab a random comment. Somebody say honor amongst thieves. Okay, well, I like it. I I thought I would take y'all temperature and talk about honor amongst thieves. Speaking of thieves, it's not necessarily thievery, but this is plotting. This is next level plotting right here. All right. So I want y'all to name. So just do me a favor. Just appease me. Name a player that you felt like was either randomly trying to not catch passes, dropped passes intentionally, couldn't hold on to the ball intentionally, from the wide receiver core for the Browns. Just humor me for a minute. Just humor me for a minute. I want to see if y'all gonna come up with the same people. I know everybody gonna pick Jerry Jeudy, so no. Anybody but him. He's obvious. Somebody that wasn't as obvious. You know, we talked about this, right? When Shaduer got to his second or third game, all of the analysts were doing, they were analyzing the game, the plays, and they were talking about how, I think in the Ravens game, they couldn't, when Shaduer played the second half, they blamed some players in addition to Jerry Jeudy, who they felt like couldn't hold on to the ball. They said it's just all kind of balls, catchable passes were dropped. Name somebody else, I don't care what game it is, that you felt like you went, you had some concern about some catchable passes being dropped. Humor me, please. All right, so one of the reasons that Shaduer should be traded is because it is likely that Stefanski will still have his job. Why is that? Because if you pay attention, he was on Shaduer. He was hating on Shaduer. He was dehumanizing Shaduer all spring, summer long. He was doing everything possible to hold Shaduer back. And people said Stefanski didn't want Shaduer to come to Cleveland, right? So all of the fire Stefanski talk has ceased. Pay attention, right? And they talking and bringing in some senior voices. And Stefanski and Barry is going to be running the ship. I have talked to y'all. If Barry elevates above GM, that's to move him out the way, so somebody else can come in and pick the talent, because Stefanski chooses who plays, but Barry chooses who comes to the team, and then Stefanski is supposed to choose from that pool. I have pointed out that Stefanski doesn't respect Barry and undermines his role, because Barry will go get new people and Stefanski won't play them, especially where the O-line is concerned, because Andrew Barry and Stefanski are equal on the depth chart, on the organization chart. They're equal. So really and truly, even though it said that Barry said they're going to make some changes, it must be a change that Haslam want to make, because Barry is an equal to Stefanski unless he gets promoted and elevated above Stefanski. And I suspect that's why Chris Grier is being considered for a job, because it seems like Haslam is allowing Andrew Barry to have more leeway. Follow me here, okay? I don't personally think that Haslam would hire Chris Grier. I really don't. Because if you look at the team, if you look at how he treated Sashi Brown, who was a Black Harbor grad, just like Andrew Barry, and he fired him so he don't get Lamar, and how dirty the Browns did Shaduer because Andrew Barry thought they were going to get Shaduer. And when you look at how Stefanski's been allowed to treat Shaduer, allowed to treat Deshaun, Jameis Winston, fans have told us about that. Came to me at X and told me about how Jameis Winston was also mistreated. So how Stefanski has been allowed to mistreat Black quarterbacks, I personally don't think Haslam would hire Chris Grier. I don't. I think he would let Barry once again think, I'm going to let you think you're going to run this. And probably at the last minute, like they did Shaduer, switch it up. Why do I think that? Because the guy that y'all like over at the ESPN Cleveland, Rizzo, he's big on Peyton Manning. What's the connection? Peyton Manning went to Tennessee. What they got to do with Cleveland? They went to Tennessee too. Haslam. All of them. Haslam went to Tennessee. His brother was the governor of Tennessee. They got a building with their name on it at the University of Tennessee. Peyton Manning went to Tennessee. Understand that. That's the connection, right? So they looking out for one another. And I knew that Rizzo wanted Peyton Manning to run the ship, like they say Andrew Berry is getting ready to do. But I pointed out a few days ago, I could see them making the Peyton guy the GM. But then again, they wouldn't probably let him, Andrew Berry, tell Manning what to do. So I could see them flipping it, right? So something's going on. And there's two things happening here. The way that Andrew Berry is equal to Stefanski, but Stefanski reports to Haslam separately, independently of Berry. Berry's conversations and Haslam conversation is just between Berry and Haslam. And Stefanski's conversation is separate from them. So Stefanski's conversation with Haslam conversation is also between the two of them, not between the three of them. Okay? So I can pretty much see where Berry would be told to go get me that guy, Deshaun, between Haslam and Berry. Do not forget, Haslam got on his jet along with Andrew Berry and went to visit what football game? Ohio State and Texas. Keep that in mind. I just told you the connection between the Peyton Manning, the same person that Rizzo. So I got Haslam and I got Peyton Manning and I got Rizzo over at ESPN Cleveland, right? That's the Tennessee connection. Put a pin in that. So they go to visit Ohio State and Texas. In that kid play, Arch Manning is Peyton Manning's nephew. So there's a connection from Tennessee to Arch Manning. Peyton Manning is that connection in the conversation. Rizzo works for ESPN Cleveland. He's talking about Peyton Manning coming in and running the ship, right? What else was ESPN Cleveland doing? This summer, they had a tracker. Remember the tracker? And they had a tracker with Dylan and Shaduer and all of this, and they tracking it every week, right? Well, when football season started, they started a college tracker. They started a college tracker tracking college quarterbacks. Don't forget, the Manning kid was supposed to come out in 2026. Guess who they had at the top of the college QB football tracker? The Manning kid. Guess who was number 2? Lenore Sellers. What happened to Lenore Sellers this year? He was supposed to be the number 1 player coming out of college. And what prevented that? A concussion. A bad one. They left him on the field for 5 minutes. What has Lenore Sellers decided to do? Not come out this year. What is supposedly going on with the Manning kid? He didn't play well early on. So supposedly he coming out next year. So the 1 and the 2, which should have been Lenore Sellers and the Manning kid, are going back to school. Well, after the Manning kid wasn't playing well, even before Lenore Sellers got the concussion, ESPN Cleveland stopped using the tracker. They abandoned the initiative with the QB college tracker. They had gotten to maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and that was it. Why would ESPN Cleveland be tracking the Manning kid at the top of the tracker and he wasn't number 1? Because they wanted him to come to Cleveland. So Shedeur Sanders is not a long-term solution because in 2026, the draft was expected to be the Manning kid coming out. And they was already talking about rigging the Heisman to give it to him because at week 3, he somehow was a Heisman candidate, but it wasn't enough of a show for ESPN Cleveland to keep tracking him because he wasn't doing well. And people said he needs another year. So they abandoned the talk about him winning the Heisman. They abandoned the tracker with him at the top. Then Lenore Sellers get concussed. He ain't coming out either. So Shedeur is not their long-term solution. One of the reasons they was pushing Shedeur away so hard is because they already had the QB space, the franchise QB space reserved for the Manning kid. They knew with the Manning kid coming out in 2026, they could draft him because Deshaun Watson's contract ends in 2026. So I can get him. And they would have ponied up the money. And they probably would have sent him first. Because that was all of the Heisman talk, was to get him in the first round. And to get him first, making $50 million while you still have Deshaun. But you only have to pay Deshaun for 1 year. Then again, you don't have to pay Deshaun at all. Follow me. Deshaun's salary in 2024 was covered by an insurance. What did they just say about Deshaun? One, we can't move him. That's how I knew they wasn't getting a quarterback. Well, I knew they still want to get the Manning kid because he pivoted to 2027. Coincidentally, that's the same draft that Trump announced at the end of the 2025 draft. That's going to be in Washington, D.C. in 2027. So technically, they had already figured out, even though we got to owe Deshaun $46 million in 2026, he going to be gone, so we need a quarterback. They already determined they ain't even let him play. At a week ago, it came out they not going to add him to the roster. So he just going to be back on the injury list. The question is the insurance company going to pick up his $46 million for the second year in a row? We shall see. But let's get back to the Manning kid. So by the time they decide we can't move off of Deshaun, I think Ohio State lost the game. I don't know if that had anything to do with the same kid or not. But the point is, the Manning kid had already came out and said for the second time he's going back to school, which means they have to pivot on their plan to get the Manning kid to Cleveland in 2026. Follow me. Enters Shedeur Sanders. We don't want you. We don't value you because we're going to get the Manning kid. Oh, wait. He going back to school. We're going to need a quarterback. We ain't paying for nobody else because we're going to have to pay the Manning kid. We already got to pay Deshaun. Keep Shedeur. Yeah, let's keep Shedeur. But are they going to want to win in 2026? They didn't want to win in 2024. In 2024, they knew the Manning kid was coming out. In 2024, Shedeur hit as the number one quarterback coming out of college, October of 2024. Deshaun's salary was being paid by an insurance company. They knew at the end of 2024, they needed an O-line and they needed wide receivers, and they ain't getting either one of them. But they was going to get Shedeur. No, the hell they wasn't. How were they going to get Shedeur number one? They wasn't. Or number two, they knew they was going to get the Manning kid. That's why they pushed off Shedeur. I think they used that ruse to reel him in. And I think Andrew Berry really thought it was going to happen because, again, not everybody knew they were going to get the Manning kid. Or did they? Before I get to the next part of the story on why Shedeur should be traded, I'm going to get ready to check these comments and see, because I asked y'all a question. Name a player besides Jerry Jeudy that you thought was not holding on to passes. All right. Jeudy, people said Gage, Tillman, Gage. Jeudy, Luke. Okay, so a lot of people say they think Gage. And I do believe that Gage was possibly an unwilling asset. Meaning they didn't sit down and incentivize him like they did in New Orleans doing Bountygate. However, who's this? But a lot of people said Gage and Tillman. There's one name that somebody hasn't said, and that's who I'm going to talk about. Okay, so it's 2026. Deshaun still worked there. He still got the heavy contract, but they just said he's not coming back onto the 53-man roster, so he going to still be injured. So maybe they could pick up his contract again. But they know at the end of 2026, this time next year, he out the door. Okay? So they were planning to get the Manning kid in the 26th draft at the beginning. Get him in the beginning of the 26th draft and just keep Deshaun over there because they have no choice, but not let him play, but get the Manning kid ready, right? But that's going to be pushed back a whole year so Shedeur can stay, but he's not our long-term solution. Now, initially, I hope y'all follow me. Initially, I think I'm okay with Shedeur staying because I know you want to get the Manning kid, but do you want to win? Because chances are, if you know you want to get the Manning kid, you want the number 1 pick overall. You tanked in 2024. Excuse me. You lost and won 3 games. You only won 3 games in 2024. You weren't trying to win in 2024. In the 25 draft, you didn't fix your problems. You didn't fix your O-line. You didn't get the receivers that you needed. Right? Follow me? At 25, you get Dylan. And Shaduer somehow comes at a deep discount. And you do everything to make him feel he isn't worthy to be a quarterback or he isn't good enough to be the quarterback. All the while, you think the Manning kid is coming out because we hadn't played college ball yet. So you going in on Shaduer. You don't want him to play. You don't want him to ball out. You don't want him to be a quarterback. You out here basically saying, you're willing to tank for the next 3 years. And you want to put it all and bet the farm on Dylan this season. Why would I want to do that? Because Dylan is mediocre. And I've said it before. If Dylan goes out there and lose like Stefanski was planning to do all season and throw away the season like he did last year, then I'm going to just stick with Dylan because by the time the Manning kid come out, we straight. Because he ain't Shaduer. If I let Shaduer go out here and put up 393 yards on every goddamn game he played and he only played 6, y'all going to want Shaduer to be QB1 in 2026. And then I got to get the Manning kid in 2027. I can't have that. Plus, I got to get the Manning kid number 1 overall before somebody else get him. So I have to lose. I have to lose in 2026 unless I use this draft to exchange with somebody a bushel of picks to get the number 1 pick next year in 2027. If I cannot secure the number 1 pick, I have to tank to try to get it. What did they do this year? They made it as high as number 3 or 2, and they abandoned their effort. Why? Because they wasn't drafting a quarterback. And I kept saying, y'all talking about they get Mendoza and Dante. No, they not. They not doing that. I said they got a parking space reserved for the Manning kid. And people started catching on X. Yeah, I can see that happening because they're going to need to trade Shaduer to get the Manning kid. Facts. So initially you think, oh, well, Shaduer can go and bow out. And then they can trade him and get the Manning kid. No, the hell they not. Because they fans going to eat them alive. And even Haslam said it. They were content to rebuild for 3 more years. 25, 26, and 27. So let's go 26, 27, 28. And why? Why would I be content with building? Because I'm going to give him time to get good. We know he ain't like that. That kid ain't like that. I don't even know if he's going to be like that next year. But he definitely going to be better than he was. And he is exciting to watch. And look at how they're propping up Tyler Shaw. Tyler Shaw has only played 9 games. And they trying to give him offensive rookie of the year. And I watched that Texans game. And I told y'all I have been watching, the Titans game. And I've been watching the Saints. He has uncontested catches. So they trying to prop, and they move Alvin Kamara out the way so he can get the shine. Go look at the Saints depth chart. I watched that game. They were scoreless through the first quarter. The Saints were. You know when I stopped wanting to watch the game? When they hadn't scored midway through the second quarter and they took Tyler Shaw out and they let Taysom Hill be the quarterback. And they want to suggest that he should be through 9 games, the easiest stretch of the 9 games, because Spencer Rattler played the tough stretch. Spencer Rattler played all the other teams that was at the top. They didn't want Tyler Shaw to play those games. So he had to be benched. So they want him to come in with 9 games, largely uncontested catches. Took him out the game after he was already benched, and Taysom Hill got to get in. Won 9 games, and they want to steal offensive rookie of the year from Ted McMillan, who played 15, 16, 17 games and balled each game. They desperate to prop up either Dart or Tyler Shaw because of Shaduer. And it tells you that if Shaduer only had 9 games, which is why they weren't going to never let him play 9 games, he would be in the conversation. But they would never let Shaduer get away with only playing 9 games and then talking about offensive rookie of the year. But Shaduer is still the only quarterback to be rookie of the week. So you see how they propping up Tyler Shaw? And the media is going in, just like they went in on Shaduer in the draft down. The media is going in to build up Tyler Shaw. How many Tyler Shaw highlights do you get to see? I see more Shaduer's viral highlights than any other quarterback out here, any rookie quarterback. Because not only is he excited to watch, he's accurate. And his receivers are contested. That's not the case for Tyler Shaw. And the way the media is building up Tyler Shaw is the same way they were trying to build up the Manning kid to give him the Heisman, even when Haslam went down with Andrew Barrett. Go get me that guy. He really made it obvious with Shaduer on the ground. We're going to get one of these quarterbacks right here and not you. And they still might get Julian saying, I don't know if he's even coming out. But they say the Manning kid ain't coming out. I said, I don't believe it till I see it. But Shaduer is not their long-term solution. And I said, Shaduer is their bridge. And they let their last bridge, Deshaun Kaiser, go 0-15. And they need to get the Manning kid in 2027. And if Shaduer is their bridge in 2026, and they need the first pick overall, and they were willing to only win 3 games in 2024, not fix their problems in 2025, only win 3, now 4 games in 2025, or they Shaduer as a bridge, waste his time, and let him and the Browns lose again, so they actually can get the number 1 pick to get the Manning kid in 2027. One of the reasons they still want the Manning kid is because quarterbacks have some power. I figured this out today. I said Cam Ward brought in Restrepo from Miami. See, they came in the same year, right? Now remember, the Manning kid was coming in 2026. He was going to be actively playing in 2026. So he would be in the 2026 draft, right? And it never dawned on me. It never dawned on me what was going on. But there was another player that people wondered if he was dropping passes. And I was doing something today. I said, wait a minute. Didn't Isaiah Bond go to Texas? And I said, did Isaiah Bond play football with Arch Manning? And it said, yeah. They connected on a 51-yard pass. They did really well. And I said, oh, shit. Isaiah Bond. He came out with Shaduer. They got him last year. Remember, Isaiah Bond he barely went through camp. I think he missed all the camp. Why I checked the depth chart today, and Isaiah Bond is a starting receiver. I said, holy shit. They brought in Isaiah Bond, thinking they was going to bring in the Manning kid this year. So they was pairing him up with his receiver, Isaiah Bond. There you go. So I was right about the reserve QB space that they have. And now that you go back and look at Isaiah Bond and his history with the Manning kid, they brought in his receiver. And they were bringing him in, and they were going to put the band back together. And they were going to excite the Texas fan base. Yeah, Isaiah Bond. See, some people had him on the list as players early on that was dropping catchable passes. I bet Isaiah Bond knows what's going on. Isaiah Bond is Arch Manning's receiver from Texas. Now, the problem with that is, yes, they were supposed to get him in the draft, but somehow he got devalued. he got devalued. But he came in late, and guess what? He just started for wide receiver 3. So don't be surprised if maybe he get a new contract or they just getting him ready to reunite. They gonna make a big ass deal about that. So now that you know Isaiah Bond is his wide receiver and they have chemistry and they did all of that reserve parking space is to bring in the Manning kid, and they gonna reunite and celebrate their time from Texas. They just brought him in the year before, and then the unexpected happened, so we got to pivot for another year. Yep, Isaiah Bond. So let me see if any of y'all had him on the list, and then I'm gonna hop over there because this is why Shaduer needs to move on. Every time he look at Isaiah Bond, it ought to be a reminder that he's temporary and that he probably don't care. And at first, I didn't care. I'm like, fine, let Shaduer go ball out and then trade him to another team. And then I thought about it. They still want the Manning kid. So if you lost in 2024 because you knew the kid was coming out in 2026 and you lost again in 2025 with Shedeur Sanders on the ground, and you let it be known Shaduer wasn't your choice, and you let it be known that you could build for 3 more years, you waiting on the Manning kid, and you're not going to give a damn about the draft. And you might not fix any of your problems. You already got the receiver you want, and Isaiah Bond. By then, you probably will have moved off Jerry Jeudy. You probably gonna get another receiver. It ain't gonna be high though, because you're gonna ask the Manning kid who he want to bring with him, and that ain't until 2027. So the unexpected could happen again, but they betting the farm on the Manning kid. So I believe Shaduer is too good of a quarterback to be wasted away on a team that for the 3rd year likely will try not to win, so they can actually get the number 1 pick overall, so they can fulfill their plan from 2024 to get the Manning kid as their franchise quarterback, because they already got his receiver from Texas on the roster. Shaduer's too good to be wasted, his talent to be wasted while they pine away for the Manning kid. Shaduer needs to go to a team like Vegas. Pete Carroll supposedly isn't coming back. I'm like, please hire Coach Prime. But, you know, they going to get another head coach. Shaduer deserves to be on a team as a franchise quarterback and not somebody that's put on ice because we don't want him to ball out because of the Manning kid. Did they want Shaduer to ball out early this year? No. Because they thought they were getting the Manning kid until they found out they were not. So they're going to wait. They already got his receiver. So they just waiting to put the band back together. Shaduer should not have to wait around for that. Shaduer should be on a team where he can ball out because Shaduer will elevate the game. So that's why it's best that Shaduer will be traded, because the Browns are just pining away for the Manning kid. And I don't care what moves Andrew Berry makes, their organizational structure alone, especially if they bring back Stefanski, tells me that Haslam tells Berry one thing and then Haslam tells Stefanski something else. So I don't care about that. All right, I'm going down to the bottom and I'm going back up to the top. All right, so it said, why would they want the Manning kid? The last name, boo. They look at them as football royalty. I believe the Sanders are football royalty, but they don't prefer the Sanders for football royalty. That's why they're trying to suppress the Sanders. That's why Shiloh is gone. That's why they, try to push Coach Prime out of football altogether, right? So, look at how, if you watched any of the video footage, it wasn't on Bucky's video. It was just somebody else's channel. There was a lady you could hear asking people to move out the way, move to the side, so Coach Prime could walk through. Yeah. See, the NFL don't want to see Shaduer, Shiloh, Coach Prime as football royalty, but the fans know it. The fans and everybody else know it. The football world, the commissioner and his overlords, want the Manning name to be who they ride in on their white horse. So they would just waste away Shaduer's time until the Manning kid come. Now, I'm going to tell you what I saw today. I saw the Cleveland media, who I told y'all as of late, on IG, their account on IG, they hadn't been showing Shedeur as the future. Today they celebrated Victory Monday with Shedeur. I was like, oh, okay. So they want to celebrate Shedeur now. Here's what Shaduer is going to have to be wary of. The same thing that Jerry Judy's doing. Being baited in again. Jerry Judy keeps baiting Shedeur in. I heard Shedeur talk about how he's only 23. Facts. He's young, right? He's going to have to learn this, right? Being baited in, playing in your face, making everybody think it's okay. But then what happened? I screw you over again. Same thing with the Browns. We baited you in and made you think we was going to get you number 2 until right 10 days before the draft. We cut you like hot trash because everybody else already got their quarterback. So we put you in a bad spot. So are they trying to bait him in again and make him think he want to stay around? That way, if other teams come, he like, no, I'm going to stay in Cleveland. Be careful. Look at Myles Garrett. And we don't know what retaliation they're going to bring his way because they was already trying to trade Shedeur and Myles Garrett last week. And now he's speaking out again. First time he showed any type of affinity or respect for Shedeur as a quarterback, what did they do? Told us about all his accidents. Ain't no telling what the hell finna happen now. I asked the question, I wonder how many times when Myles Garrett brushes his teeth, he'd be like, I should have went to another team when I had the chance. Shedeur got to be careful of the Browns showing him love all of a sudden and somebody else coming his way. And then he stays there, and then they do exactly what I say, lose to get the Manning kid. Isaiah Bond right there on the team. If he don't know what the hell going on, when he figure it out, he should say, look, bro, I'm just letting you know that why they got me. But they got him for cheap. They did. I wouldn't even use the word deep discount. He somehow found himself in a situation that he said was fraudulent, and he's suing behind it. I'm like, well, damn, they not only did they bring his receiver in, they brought him in for cheap, but he suddenly, after missing our camp, is a starter. I think Jamari Thrash might be behind him, and we never get to see Jamari Thrash. I do not know why that is. So now you know my reason why Shedeur Sanders should be traded, because the Browns ownership is pining for the Manning kid, which means he's not going to invest in Shedeur or want Shedeur to ball out 300 yards every damn game, unless he already said, look, we just want you here for a year. We're going to let you play your game and we're going to ship you out so we can get the Manning kid. That's the only way I'd stay, as if it's clear-cut documented that you're going to trade me as a QB1 and not try to make me a QB2 behind this kid, because 2026 goes south, especially with Stefanski as the head coach or anybody else just like him. Shedeur got to be careful. Got to be careful. You don't want to lock yourself up with people luring you in. So that's why. So y'all let me know what you think about my thoughts about why it is he need to move on, because the Browns are pining away for the Manning kid. And as we get, when we get to the 2026 season, it's probably going to take about 10 games for people to realize that that's what's happening. And if they don't want to commit, remember Shedeur was asked about the Browns committed to him, and he's like, I can't worry about that. He can't. Let me know when you see the Browns committing to Shedeur other than likes and clicks. It means he's temporary. The moratorium on trading Shedeur doesn't exist. And they're going to have a plan for him when the Manning kids show up. And it might be humiliating. So he's going to have to do some thinking. It said, what's up? So I'm heading over to the comments. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Peter? Don't forget, I asked the question. I asked you guys to treat the platform today, the podcast, like an achievement table, and list one of your biggest achievements, just because I'm really big on community as one of the initiatives for the podcast coming up. So I want to start now. So let me know. I'll be looking out for that. Hey, Tina, how you doing? It said the illest show on the planet. Thank you so much. What's up, chat? And let me know what y'all thinking about everything that I said, because that was a lot. Good evening. But that's my theory. The Browns pining away. They already brought in the receiver from Texas. They thought they were going to have a reunion with Bond and Manning. Notice nobody ever mentioned that Bond went to Texas and played with Arch Manning. I ain't never even heard nobody say that. Because they don't want to say it. They know what time it is. And it's just further proof that the QB1 spot is reserved. They just already bringing in his people. Let's see who they get this year. They say, grand evening. It has been an interesting Monday. Watching lots of highlights today. Yep, Crowley, I was watching Omarion highlights and every other receiver at Colorado. In case y'all haven't heard, the Buffs have a new athletic director. He came from the University of New Mexico. He'd only been there a year, but they were apparently happy with his accomplishments. What I noticed about him is he's younger. He's a young guy, so fresh ideas normally comes with that different generation. And I think he might be Hispanic or something like that. I don't know, but that seemed different for Colorado. So congratulations to the new AD. He introduced his family online and everything. I think I shared it on my stories. I'm not that big on the university no more. I'm just, cheering for Coach Prime. So good luck to the new athletic director. Don't know if y'all heard about it, but it's on my stories. And Miller, yes, I do think Miller would be one of the receivers that Shaduer should pair up with. And that's another reason I want Shaduer to go to a team where they would treat him like they, treat quarterbacks. Hey, what's a receiver you think? Because they understand that chemistry, right? That's another reason I think he should move on. So he can be, so that the team can commit to him and everything that comes with that in the quarterback space. Everybody knows that, right? And he won't get to do that in Cleveland because they committed to the Manning kid and he still got another year in school. It was said that Aaron Rodgers speaks highly of Shaduer and gave him words of encouragement. That's what I heard. That's nice to hear. I think Aaron Rodgers trying to get to Green Bay. But yeah, that was nice to hear. Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna give him his flowers for his football skill set. You could see he a veteran and he can play football in his sleep. I mean, you could just see it. And then Shaduer's watching him. And, he says, waves off and want to go ahead and play on the 4th and 7 or whatever they had. Then Shaduer tried it. And, of course, Kevin Stefanski, shut it down. My issue with Kevin Stefanski is his Jim Crow mentality. That's why he's so happy to tell people, I'm privileged to have this job. He really tries to hold up to the light the Jim Crow type system that white people can do this and black people can't do it. That's really what it is. And he just gotta go. He just gotta go. So yeah, whatever. That's what he is. So I was happy to hear Aaron Rodgers had nice things to say for Shaduer. Another quarterback to a quarterback. And Shaduer, people say, I think Shaduer can be a franchise quarterback in this league. He can be a GOAT. Yeah, he can. But is the overlord system gonna let it? You can't forget about that. You can't forget about that. Because what we saw with Shaduer since he started playing, right? Understand this. The Saints gave Spencer Rattler the toughest stretch because they wanted to prove he wasn't the guy. Facts. Then what did they do, right? Then they benched Rattler in a humiliating fashion. And then they propped up Tyler Shaw. What happened in Cleveland? The reverse. Same but different. Shaduer got the toughest stretch. Even though he didn't play 9 games, he got cheated out of games because he could have played 9 games too. Shaduer got the toughest stretch. You think they wanted Shaduer to play the Dolphins and the Jets? No. Shaduer got the shortest stretch, the toughest stretch. The toughest stretch in the dead of winter was supposed to prove that Shaduer is not the guy. They know Shaduer is the guy because they didn't let him play 9 games. They didn't let him play the Jets and the Dolphins. Shaduer was supposed to finish the season with people believing he's not the guy. But then the Manning kid stays in school, and I might need you to be the guy for 1 year. Shaduer's salary is $975,000. And I'm not saying that this ain't about the type of money. Do you know how easy it is to move Shaduer as a quarterback right now? Do you know how many teams would give INT to get a franchise quarterback for $975,000 this year, $1,000 and probably $1,800, whatever, the next year, $1 million the next year, $1.2 million a year after that? and maybe 1.8 million a year. Do you know how much Dak Prescott makes? 60 million a year. And Shaduer and Dak Prescott were the 1 and 2 for the longest passes of the season until Stefanski last week made him be a check down king. And that's why. So Tyler Shaw can get up there. And Shaduer can fall out of the company with the vets. This is why I say Shaduer got to get the hell out of Cleveland. The fact that I felt like Shaduer was going to be traded to Miami and a lot of things that went with that, go watch the members only video. I'm right about that. Because it was so easy. He could have been over there with Tua, and Quinn Ewers could have been over there because he went to Texas. Quinn Ewers could have been over there with who? Isaiah Bond, his old teammate. And Arch Manning, who would be his next teammate, and they could put the band back together. In fact, the Browns could have drafted Quinn Ewers instead of Dylan. But they let Quinn Ewers go last. Let's see if he ended up with Brock Purdy contract. They didn't humiliate him, though. They quietly let him go last on a team where they knew they were going to bench Tua, that they didn't want Shaduer because they knew they was going to bench Tua. Why they didn't want Quinn Ewers over there? Because Quinn Ewers is better than the Manning kid. So they got a clear path for the Manning kid. And can't nobody give him no competition. So Shaduer got to be gone. Because we know if Shaduer is QB2 behind the Manning kid in year 3 and don't think they wouldn't do it, you already know what's going to happen. What's happening right now. So they're going to have to move off of him, you would think. So just go ahead and do it now. So Shaduer can go live his life and play his best game and not deal with Stefanski trying to let sure people know that, you know, Jim Crow exists. Because that's all he doing. I'm sick of him. He wants to be proud of what he can do and what he thinks black quarterbacks aren't worthy enough to do. Then let him go on with that. That's another reason why Shaduer should be gone. We won't have time for that. It said, after 40 years in retail, tired. Way to go, Paul. Okay, so I asked everybody. To list their biggest accomplishment this year, and this is the accomplishment table. And Paul, shout out to Paul. Congratulations to Paul. All right, Paul. How many years? 40 years in retail. Good for you. Good for you, because wow, that means you're a very nice person, or you know how to play the game. One of the two. I don't know what it means, but I think that that's absolutely amazing. So here's your applause. Shout out to you. That's huge. That's huge. 40 years. Okay, I like that. All right. Let's see what else we got. So yes, this is my initiative on community, the accomplishment table. It's just virtual. All right, who else we got? It said, oh, okay, Ramon said, my achievement is subscribing to What She Said Sports. The best thing I did this year. It said great commentary and community. And what is it? And camaraderie. Okay, camaraderie, because I'm just trying not to get placed in timeout. Damn. Why? Who placed you in timeout? Oh, y'all be nice. I be nice. Shout out to Ramon. Thank you for bringing that to the accomplishment table. It said Walmart bought Layaway back. Oh, Walmart still have Layaway. I'm pretty sure he ain't buying them from Walmart, but he could be. But I don't know if they sell about 10 carats and diamonds. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But thank you for me that TK. Walmart brought Layaway back. Ramon said you want Tracy Evans is upset. Why? Oh. Anyway, I'm gonna keep it pushing real life. I'm gonna keep it pushing. It said Sharon Brantley, good evening. What She Says for the chat. Welcome. It said it's a 21-year age difference. People are just miserable. That's all. Facts. That's crazy, right? It said, I agree. People need to mind their business. Yeah, mind your business. Hell, I'm ready to find out what's on Layaway. I just want to know how big it is. I'm like, I'm going to be taking bets. I'm like, is it bigger than 10 carats? Is it 15? Ooh, what if it's 20? I don't know. 20 is kind of big. I think it's about 10 carats. Maybe about 15. Coach Brown was number 21. Let's see if it's 21 carats. It could be, but you can't wear that outside. So maybe about 10. Greetings. Hey, Stephen. Greetings. It said, I was blessed to write my first self-published book, Houston Veer, 11 chapters, 5 pages, my 7th documentary film, Diggs Park, Prodigy QB, since June of 2K21. Wow. Okay. Anybody want to do any publishing? We have an expert in the house. Nice. I said I wanted to maybe do an audio book, so I might have to get some tips from you. If I get serious about it. I was actually thinking about that today on quarterbacks. Can you imagine that that's the black quarterbacks? That's the way I want to go to talk about that. Okay, well, that's awesome. That's an excellent achievement. Shout out to you. And you say since 2K21 and it's 2025. Way to go. That's special. Congratulations, Stephen. Congratulations. And you say you have a documentary called Diggs Park, Prodigy QB. Where can we find that? Drop us the link. It said they in love. I think so too. I think so. It says Xavier Weaver, the receiver. Bye, Judy. Okay, so Ramon says he thinks Zay Weaver should be one of. I think so. I think because you know what? That could actually work. You know why? How long y'all think Zay gonna be in Arizona? I think he could move around. Now, if Andrew Berry have any real pull, he should kind of do that, right? Trade somebody. I don't know who. Bond. It would show a commitment to Shaduer. I'm just saying. And get Zay the receiver. Because what were we talking about? We know Will Shepherd. We know who else? Zay Weaver. Omarion would have caught that pass. I was watching Omarion highlights. He had hella contested passes and he won those contests. Right? So, for sure. Zay Weaver. And I remember Zay. Yeah, Zay and LeJounte caught a lot of balls. I felt like a lot of passes that a lot of people wouldn't have caught. It said Tracy did the same. I don't Dion will ever remarry. Okay. It said she really liked spending time with his family. And then they went to her family. Yes, she was very proud of that. She was like, yeah, in my family. And turns out some of her family, her mom or something like that, lives in Prosper where he lived. I'm like, see, there's a whole lot of that, right? You know, and he was like, yeah, I think he was talking to his sister. He was like, yeah, we out here by where I used to live. And that's nice. And I mean, I can just tell, right, how she looks at him and how he likes that, right? He likes that. So, yeah, I say they in love. And I like the way she look at him. And I'm like, fellas, to get somebody that look at you like that. Get somebody that's happy to see you and, and not embarrassing you and all that kind of stuff. All right, let's keep it pushing. It says Shaduer made the fastest 3 minutes tonight at halftime. What's that, Sharon? He made the fastest 3 minutes at halftime. What's that you talking about? It said folks act like they know something. That man faced his mortality. That's what I keep telling people. Y'all don't understand how things change you. All right, I told members, right? That I went to the doctor and this no cap, how they told me I had 5 tumors. Long story short, I did not. Go listen to the members live stream. But they did, and they showed me where they were. And I remember standing on the driveway, making a phone call, crying uncontrollably. It was just different after that. And I shared with the members how when I went to do the MRI, the lady was putting the needle in my hand to draw the blood. And she was like, what kind of cancer do you have? And this is before I found out about the results. I'm like, I don't have cancer. I just kept saying that, right? And I was like, I don't have cancer. I don't know why people keep asking me that. But the results came back that I had 5 tumors. I kid you not. And they showed me where they were, and it was final. It was infinite. And my life flashed through before my eyes. Everything I was thinking of, just things were just coming up that I hadn't even ever considered. And it seemed like that was a period at the end of a sentence. So when you find out that that's not what it is, that's not what that was, right? Your heart, like you feel relieved. Coach Prime could do something about the results he got. So he probably is relieved. What did Karuchi say when I did my Bay segment, right? My Bay segment. The guy stopped her at the airport and she was like, I mean, he's healthy. He's happy. He's healthy. That's all she cared about. That's all she cared about. is that he was happy and healthy. And yeah, he probably spoils her and she probably deserves it. And it's nice to be able to be in a position to get another opportunity. And he probably thinks, oh, I'm going to do this. This is probably, this diagnosis or whatever the results were, is probably what made him be different, because it's a wake up call. You better start living your life. It's a, hey, can't wait forever because this shit don't last forever. It don't. Dave Chappelle talked about it in his stand-up. He said, you know, the reality of it is, it ain't gonna be too many more of these facts. You could live to be 100 and not even know who the hell you are. You could live to be 65 and broke and can't do shit. You could live to be 75 and can't see. Quality of life diminishes. You could live on this earth for 114 years and be stuck in a convalescent home and can't go outside from 75 to 114. Quality of life diminishes. And that's probably what his takeaway from what he's been through is she don't care. She don't care. She's happy because she got somebody that clearly spoils her. And he got somebody that just kind of looks at him like that and ain't trying to make no decisions. They just happy to be there. You could see she ain't trying to insert nothing, be they mama or no. You could even look at the way she moves. Like when she was giving Shiloh the gift and, you know, she's like, you know, I didn't know till last minute you was coming. She wanted him to know. I remember she said something about the Christmas tree came up and she thought about her words. She said, well, you know, I felt like, you know, if I was going to be spending Christmas at your house, then I thought we should have a tree. She said, your house. I caught that. I was like, I like her. I like Miss Carolyn and I like Miss Pilar. But they have moved on. Now, if he was still married to Miss Pilar, I probably would like Karuchi. But he ain't married to Miss Pilar. I don't know when they got a divorce. I adore Miss Pilar. But she has moved on. She's gorgeous, but she has moved on. And something tragic happened to this man. And God allowed him to survive it. So his perspective is different. He even said after that happened, I think I'm going to buy 200 more acres. That's how you get. You better go do everything that you was thinking of doing, but you was putting it on hold. You know all them clothes you got in your closet with the tags on? You might want to wear them. That's how I feel. Y'all see me here. Y'all be like, oh, Nola living her life. Yep. Because when somebody tell you you got 5 tumors, you think that's it. Because how long you going to live with that? And when you find out that ain't what it was, yeah, you want to sue somebody because y'all know I want to do it. And yes, I was pissed the hell off and all of that. But I took the message away. Live your life with zest. Zest. And Coach Prime, that's the same message for him too. So let the people live, because honestly, a woman his age probably don't even want to be in that position. They might need to go live their life with zest. Karuchi got time. If we just going off the calendar. She gets to enjoy herself. He gets to spoil her. He's probably different because of what he's been through. It ain't even about the age. I can see from a distance, the age part makes sense because they're both 37 getting ready to be 40. That's huge for a Black actress in Hollywood. Their roles gonna change. Coach Prime, 57 going to be 60. Life changing. The physicality of life changing. So they got change to talk about. So let them people be. Let them people be. It said Jerry Judy would have to be wide open before I pass him the rock. Yeah, I'm like you real life, because happy for the couple. I totally agree. I personally, in this last game, this last game is about Shaduer showing that he can't be lured in. The decision making on who and when to throw to, especially where Jerry Judy is concerned. This is, if Shaduer is going to thrive in this league, this is important. It's important for people to see, one, they can't play you, and two, to demonstrate growth in terms of going from 23 and a young man that never really had much other than people hating on him to your coworkers trying to set you up. That's a new thing. That's a new thing. And you still got to work with them. Shaduer, there is a book called How to Get Along with Difficult People. I suggest you read it. In fact, I might send it to you. I think that's what I'm going to send him. I was wondering, what should I send him? I'm going to find that book and I'm going to send it to him because I read it. I told my kids to read it because it's important. Because he's going to be there. Because the league probably still has a moratorium on moving him because they're still trying to prove that they were right and he was wrong. He wasn't good. We were right to take him off the board. You got to be careful. They still don't want the Sanders legacy to take over. So it's important for him because he's going to be around there on how to deal with difficult people. Happy for the couple. Totally agree. It said Carmen came for Tampa Bay after they disrespected Shiloh. Oh, I said the same thing. I said the same thing, except for I said, yep, and they probably going to fire that coach. That's what I was thinking. And y'all said his name was Todd Bowles. They even talking about trading Baker Mayfield. I don't know why. I know why they hate on Baker Mayfield because he got away and he balling out. See, this is what I mean. Exactly what's happening to Baker Mayfield is what's happening to Shaduer. Okay? In the draft, the owners, the overlords, took Shaduer off the board, but God damn it, we had to draft you because, the president. And then in Cleveland, one of the overlords, he was my pick, and in September, we probably going to be building for another 3 years with him on the ground. And then he come out there posturing with that goddamn jersey on with them kids. You can't trust none of that. You can't trust none of that. And there's still a moratorium on him being traded because nobody ever brings up the scenario. Oh, well, Shaduer, let me know. Blow up my phone when y'all hear the big box channels and anybody else talking about what? Yeah, Shaduer would do well down in Pittsburgh because Shaduer should go to Pittsburgh because Aaron Rodgers want to go to Green Bay. But he should probably just move on. Shaduer, that's the conversation you should be hearing when Aaron Rodgers was speaking well and Mike Tomlin was talking to Shaduer. Yeah, I can see Shaduer. I'm going to tell you what I heard. Malik Willis should go to Pittsburgh. Malik Willis should go to Cleveland. Malik Willis should go here. I'm like, hello, Shaduer. Shaduer should go to Pittsburgh, and Malik Willis should go to Minnesota up there where J.J. McCarthy is. Every team they wanted to send Malik Willis to had a black quarterback. And they don't ever talk about Shaduer in a trade scenario because they know there's a moratorium on him, which means these overlords have not given up. They'd have moved on to the next class to try to manipulate. So if Shaduer is going to thrive in this environment, he's going to have to learn how to maneuver around difficult people and still continue to elevate. There's an art that comes with it, but you need Jesus to do it, or you will be swinging on somebody. That's what they're hoping for. Shiloh has a future in the NFL. Yep, as soon as he get 1 million followers, they're going to come running. It said Prime always gave them money. Yeah, I think so too. Because I think that's what Shiloh, what he was basically telling Shiloh. And that's good for Shiloh too. Because people still trying to come at him from something that happened when he was in college. I just saw something, high school, something recently about that. I wish him well with that situation. That's what I thought too. It said, I hope he gets that trust fund. Yeah, I feel like it's something like that. I feel like it's something like that. It said, me too. Life is too short and unpredictable. Facts. Talk about unpredictable because life really be out here lifing. It really be out here lifing. Bless said cash. That's what I say. Something like that. I say something like that. Shiloh can ball. Or he going to do something for him. You never know. It could be related to his case. If he got a bill at a law firm or something, he can just pay it off. That's what I would do. I would just be like, let me get that. Let me get that address or whatever, and let me get that out your way. I would take care of something like that, right? I don't need to necessarily give it to you. I need to get that off your back so you could go live your life. That's what parents do. It said, Shiloh can ball. A team should pick him up. I agree. I think he should come to Cleveland. I mean, I know he over there with Denzel Ward, but Denzel on one side, Shiloh on another. Because they got Greg Delpit and Tyson Campbell. I like them too, though. We'll see who move around. But I think Shiloh should come there. It said Shaduer about to get some wild stuff in the mail. Right. Somebody said, ladies, do not package yourself up and send yourself to Shaduer. And don't package up nothing else and send it to Shaduer. And don't go print it out and put it in the mail. He's 23. Let's remember that. Let's remember that. Shout out to Shaduer. I can't wait to find out when he get in the mail. I can't wait to find out what Coach Prime got on Layaway. I can't wait to find out what Shaduer gonna get in the mail. But I'm gonna get him that book. How to deal with difficult people. It said, Grandma gave me a fresh $20 bill every Christmas. I know that's right. And my grandpa was like that. And it wasn't even Christmas, but he'll give you $5 quick. Here, and it'd be a host of grandkids. Everybody get $1. But then, like, the oldest one get a $5 so we could go to the store and get something. I'm like, Grandpa, But that's how older Black people are. Oh, baby, I didn't know you was coming. Did you eat? Yeah. No. What you got? You be smelling good when you coming in, so you get you a good meal. But when it's Christmas and you bring a guest to the house, they go get cash and give the person cash. That is so funny. That is so funny. That is hilarious. It said Marcus Spears shut down Ryan Clark about Lamar Jackson. Oh, really? Really? Okay. Marcus Spears, I like him. And he played football, but his son is a star basketball player. His daughter is a star volleyball player. They don't play football. I always wondered why his son played basketball. I wonder if he felt some type of way about football. It said, open my first beauty salon. Yay! Yay! Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Okay. So if you're just not joining us, we're doing the achievement table. Yes, it's virtual, but you tell us in the comments about one of your biggest or most significant achievement. It don't matter. You could have turned 21. You might turn 65. It don't matter. Just whatever you feel proud of that you want to share. Because you can't always share with people around you. You can share with us and we're going to celebrate it, because community is one of the initiatives that I have for the podcast going forward into next year, but we're just starting today. Shedeur is getting better with each snap, each game. I agree. I agree. It said rest. He just started. I think people think he should rest so he don't get injured. It said, why would he stop his development? He's improving every week. I agree. It said, unbeknownst to a lot of folks, Shiloh is a musical genius. Shedeur said on Well Off Media that he was listening to Shiloh on the headphones before the Pittsburgh game. Yes, that's true. I actually listen to Shiloh's music. I like his music. He's supposed to be dropping another song, and I think the song that Shedeur was listening to said final. So maybe Shiloh, I think he talked about it on his own podcast, that he gonna release some music. So, and he got a clothing line coming out. They got good fashion sense, so that's pretty good. Yep, congratulations, Bless. So y'all make sure share with us that we congratulate them. It said QB1 hands down. Show them something they never seen before. Totally agree. Super congrats on opening your first salon. Right, that's huge. I think that's huge. It said, I hope Shedeur lets us know what he gets in the mail. Yes, because it's going, the post office is going to go over his house, and they got like vans and stuff and trucks. They're going to put that big white basket, that off-white basket with all the mail in it. They're going to pull one of them off. Watch what I tell you. It's going to be something like that. They might end up with two. Because I was like, I think he really going to put his address out here. And he did. Something told me to check his page. And he put it out there. So he finna get them Christmas gifts. He going to overwhelm the post office. Watch what I tell you. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. It's a Hall of Famer, Peyton Manning, threw 28 interceptions. He sure did. So when people tell y'all about interceptions, understand this. They love the Manning family, right? Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions, which is still an NFL record, his first year. So remind them of that when they start talking about interceptions, which are part of the game. It's that every QB throws interceptions. It's okay. And yes, Shedeur is QB1. It said, he going to have a live stream opening gifts he got in the mail. Yes, I hope so. Myles Garrett, respect how Shedeur Sanders handled his situation and kept working. Agreed. And a lot of people say, and I want to say this to the younger generation and to anybody really, but for young quarterbacks coming into league, young NFL players coming into the league. Listen to these guys that have been there. Debo and Joe said, first of all, you don't have to answer every question. If it's you feel like they're trying to trap you and you need to look for the trap because it's there, next question and keep it pushing. Now, if you don't want to do that, you need to take the Shaduer masterclass in communication. Matter of fact, in the off season, one of these universities over there or somewhere need to invite Shaduer to come in and teach a class on the technique he has developed for press conferences because it's huge. Everybody's watching Shaduer teach a masterclass to the media because a lot of these rookies, they don't know how to deal with this. Like they say, for many of them, this is their first job. So you definitely don't know all the time when they trying to set you up or how to get out of it, not get retaliated against. It's something he can teach a lot of people. Coach Prime taught an NIL class for obvious reasons because he knows how to market. Shaduer, that falls under communication. Some people might think it's PR, but I definitely say it's the art of communicating. So I think he definitely should teach a class this summer, just for a couple of weeks. Just let him come in and teach people on, the technique he has developed for himself. It's that Matt Stafford had 3 interceptions and 3 sacks tonight. What? Jizzy. It's that Jizz. Jizz Joy. Is that you, Pink? Are you Jizz Joy? Well, thank you for sending me that about Myles Garrett. I didn't know that was you. Okay, thank you. It said, damn, Stafford only had 5 interceptions all season until tonight. Right, it happens. And, you can't blame a quarterback for trying to make something happen, especially, when you start off hot and then, stuff just, starts happening. And I think Shaduer will be the same way he is with communications. He had to learn how to deal with these people and still be a professional, but at the same time, not fall for the traps and professionally push back. He's going to do the same thing when it comes to who to throw the ball to. Now, remember, what did Tommy Reese, the offensive coordinator, say? I love Jerry Jeudy. We're going to try to feature him more. He got to deal with that too. In addition on trusting who to throw the ball to. Dealing with who they want him to throw the ball to. See, that's why I'm going to give him that book. How to Deal with Difficult People. It will be really helpful. It's going to really help him. Hopefully he read it. It said, you play to win. You're supposed to play to win. That's what you're supposed to do. Myles Garrett is correct. I totally agree. Steven said, greetings, Miss Nola. Oh, okay. Talking about the book. Okay, I'm going to share this again. It said, I was blessed to complete my first self-published book entitled Houston Beer, the Stephen MacArthur documentary book. 11 chapters, 35 pages, 2K25. Well, damn. Okay. That's good. That's really good, Stephen. I'm sharing that with the community. Okay. Peter said, turn up the volume. Oh, on Myles Garrett. I did. Did y'all notice some of those interviews be like really low? Be having to try to struggle to hear. Thank you for that. You play to win the game. Right. Not so they can get draft picks. I'm guessing the Jags won't give up Travis. Jimmy is balling with the Panthers headed to postseason play. The Ravens are also vying for postseason play. It seems like the only viable option would be Zay Weaver. Okay, now that is true, right? Jimmy seems to have found a home in the Panthers organization, and LeJohntay, I think Baltimore likes him, right? He's second on the depth chart behind, what's his name? The one that played with Deshaun in Houston. I forget his name, but he's second behind him, and I think he only had a 1 or 2 year contract. And that was something else I noticed too about Isaiah Bond. His interesting ascent after being devalued and missing camp and then being the starter in wide receiver 3 on a lot of rosters. Wide receiver 3 is a veteran. On the depth charts, I checked. Wide receiver 3 is a veteran. I was like, okay, all right. So just in case y'all missed that, it said he wants 12. It said they losing for a QB1 in the draft. Shameful if it's true. It said Uncle Myles. Oh, Myles Garrett. Yeah, Myles Garrett wants Shaduer. Yeah, we're going to have to watch out for Myles because they're going to try it. It said the teams want Shaduer. I agree. It said the Cleveland media is talking about Barry getting fired instead of Stefanski. Right. And to some respects, I kind of think that's what's going to happen. Because I think they done played in Barry's face twice. Once about Shaduer and once about his own job. And now they talking about this whole Chris Geyer thing. They ain't say he was going to be the GM. They said senior voices. So we going to see. And if they hire Chris Geyer, they're going to do the same thing to him they already did to him in Miami. So it says signs about for the Cleveland media. Sounds about right for the Cleveland media. Yep. It said Miles' statement leads me to believe the gig is up for Stefanski. It said the players are tired of him sacrificing their careers for the master plan. I totally agree. Because y'all know that's why they held out Denzel Ward. That's exactly why they held out Denzel Ward. He said, I could have played last week. He ain't all these fake injuries. I'm like, so you just weaponizing fake injuries to manipulate the roster. Like he said, I'm privileged to have this job. I'm like, so you just want us to know. Okay. He ain't privileged to have the job. He's a Nepo baby. It said, no, sweetheart, I'm 67 years old. Only mentioned for reference. It said, that's how football was played in the NFL up to and including the 80s. It said bounties were common. Oh, okay. Thank you. It said, so yeah, I guess that's what it was. 32 overlords. I totally agree. It said, it looked strange to see 68 and 72 leaving the field together yesterday, conspiring. Did y'all see Bucky was it Bucky that had a cam, the tunnel cam, or the Browns had one? Somebody had a camera coming into the tunnel. I think it was the Browns. The victory cam or the win cam, and 72 was celebrated, and somebody put in the comments, he should be quiet. I'm like, right. I'm like, the conspirators want to celebrate. Get the hell out of here, bro. Get the hell out of here with that. Nobody's happy with them. It says 68 be chasing Shaduer like he wants to tackle him. Yes. That is so funny. It said Peyton is still coaching. Where is he coaching? It said things that make you go, yep. It said, what's the name of the book again? What book we talking about? If we talking about the book I'm sending to Shaduer, it's how to get along with difficult people. If that's the book we talking about, let's see. I think that's it. I actually have a copy somewhere. I don't know if it's here though, but let's see. I think that's what it's called. How to deal with difficult people. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, that's a book. That's what it's on Audible. Oh, it's on Audible. It said How to Deal with Difficult People, audiobook by Mark Davis, MarcDavis. So if you have a subscription audiobook, check it out. How to Deal with Difficult People. That's it. I'm going to get a hard copy and send it to Shaduer. You can try it for free if y'all want to listen to what it's about. Or you could buy it for, how much is it? It's only $7. Yep. I'm going to see if I can get that in print for Shaduer and send it to him. If not, I'm going to send the audio copy to Miss Pilar. Maybe she can get it to her. But I want him to have the copy. It said honor among thieves. Absolutely. It said, remember Dylan Gable's girlfriend told us the people in the building wanted Dylan Gable. Yep. She told us about the conspiracy. She sure did. But even though she didn't know that was going to come out after that, but she told us. Again, like Stefanski bragging. It said, I hope he leaves that team. I agree. I mean, I kind of want him to stay, but I want him to go. Because there's too many things that need to happen. And I understand that they pining away for the Manning kid. I understand them bringing in Isaiah Bond. I understand exactly what that's about. Right? I understand why they didn't get Quinn Ewers. They should have, though. I still think they should. It said, if you don't think it existed, read some of Jim Brown's writing and those who played during that era. We're not saying there probably weren't bounties because they came with the idea from somewhere. It's just the fact that it was orchestrated. Apparently, these $1,000 bonuses, how were they paid? Was HR involved? Again, they said there's either 13,000 or 18,000 documents. So it's probably not new. But the point is, if the coaches are involved and the coaches were involved in Bountygate, then how do we know the same thing is not happening in Cleveland, except for attacking your opponent, you're attacking your own teammate. That's what I'm talking about. That's a special kind of foolish right there. That's criminal, in my opinion. It said bias and sabotage against Shaduer. Yep, bias Stefanski. It said the Falcons need to go and get Shaduer. I don't know what they're going to do with Michael Penix Jr. It said media still trying to pump up Stefanski. See, that's what I'm saying. See, remember, half of them don't want to move off of Stefanski. He said it. Stefanski's done great work for us. I'm like, where? Must be that off the field work. I think he will move off of Barry first. That's what I think. That's just what I think. I mean, look at, he fired the Sashi Brown guy, the GM, because he wanted to get Lamar. Like, really? You fired the man to stop it from happening? So ain't no telling what else he gonna do. You know, Andrew Barry's gonna be making changes. So yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I'm privileged to have this job. It said the book Turf Wars by Damari Smith. Yes, that was it. Did you read it, Tina? Is that your accomplishment? Or are you just letting us know the book? It said praying Kevin is gone from the Browns team next week. I can't take him again in 2026. Right. Which is why I say Shaduer got to move on. It says Shaduer in the A will be bananas. Oh my God. It would absolutely be bananas. It sure would. Retaliatory actions are lurking. Yep, for Myles Garrett. That's what I say. It said, I read that story. The search for a new GM or coach is underway. Mm-hmm. It said, have faith Shaduer will overcome this by the grace of God. Facts. Oh, we believe he'll overcome. We do believe that, but we know it won't be without being necessarily painful. But I think he's good, you know. I just hope he gets to move on to a team that's committed to him and not have to go through another season of another plot trying to prove he's not the guy. Because that's all that happened this season. It says Shaduer in Atlanta will be the second coming of Michael Vick, and the fans will go crazy. Right. Yeah, I don't think they want to win with Michael Vick because he's black. It said, I call BS. They need somebody so they don't seem. I mean, yeah, but that don't mean you committed to a black quarterback, though, Peter. Is that what you mean? It said, I still want him out in Vegas with the Raiders. I kind of do, too. I have some kind of feeling like I have a Vegas Raider water bottle, and I was at the gym. And I was like, you know, I still kind of get this inkling, especially when I heard them say Pete Carroll was moving on. And, you know, Geno Smith played for him. And I felt like all of that was done to block Shaduer. And then, you know, Coach Prime and Mark Davis and Shaduer out here balling out. His salary only $975,000. That's an easy move. That's so easy. That's easy. Now they talking about Brian Flores being the defensive coordinator in the Dallas Cowboys. I don't even know if he should take that job. Don't forget, he got that lawsuit out. I don't know. I'm sure he can talk to his lawyers, though. Okay, so now we at the part where y'all were telling me who y'all thought was another player besides Judy to drop catchable passes. I think the Shaduer Files, that was one of they episodes that they did. They talked about that. I think it was them. Some people say Gage, some say Tillman. It says Shaduer in the A. Chocolate City will be epic. I promise you that. Oh, I totally agree. As somebody that's standing right here in the 404, I know it would be. It said Matt Stafford threw 3 interceptions tonight. Yep. And did Brock Purdy either have 3 interceptions or 3 sacks before they came to Cleveland? Something like that. The game they played before they played Cleveland. People say Gage and Tillman. Okay, so y'all think Gage and Tillman are part of that as well. What happened to Luke Floria? He on the practice squad. Stafford balled out, but the old lineman Humphreys was horrible. And a number of the Rams' explosive plays got called back due to penalties. Wow. Isn't that what happened to Shaduer? They had the running backs. 2 of those plays were called back. Imagine you out here triggering penalties for the running back doing all of this work. I can't imagine what that locker room is like. You got Shaduer sabotaged, probably maybe 1 or 2 different running backs being held back. Like, that's crazy. And then you got the whole defense. They're like, bro, we out here trying to win. They already struggled through that when it was Dillon. So Stefanski is still trying to keep the agenda at play that they had when Dillon, you know, well, that's why we got him, because we wasn't supposed to be winning. But now they have abandoned that effort because you're not getting a man and kid no way. So you're not even getting a quarterback. You gonna devalue somebody. Understand that. You're gonna devalue somebody. It said Gage and Tillman. It said, but I'm very disappointed in Gage's performance. I am. I thought he would be better than that. I'm shocked by Gage. I really am. If Stefanski stays, Shaduer has to go. Totally agree. Totally agree. What's DPJ? You gotta let me know. It said Gage needs to trade places with Luke. Yeah, that's Gage. Really, that kind of surprised me, right? I'm gonna hear Shaduer still cool. They were. It said the owner says Stefanski needed to win more than 3 games. Well, they won 4 games. So he's still the coach. There you go. And what did I say last week? I said, now Stefanski got to win another game here. So you only got the Bengals and the Steelers. And I'm like, I don't think nobody think they will beat the Steelers, but yeah. And they have a record of beating the Steelers at home, so they just went with it, I think. That's what I think. Shaduer can't leave under his contract. What you mean he can't leave? It said connect the dots, chat. It said if Stefanski says it will be the same. Yeah, facts. That's what I'm saying. Stefanski got to go. I think people know that one of them got to go. They not going to be able to coexist. And Shaduer's not a problem. Shaduer come with 14 million people that's going to lean on Stefanski. And he know it. Because if he didn't have pressure, he would still be running them raggedy Wildcats. And you see he don't do that no more. And you see when Coach Prime in the building, Shaduer get to play, but their agenda still happens. We ain't trying to win this game. But they won the game anyway. But they really tried to shut Shaduer down. Why? The same reason they over there propping up Tyler Shaw. Because they don't want Shaduer to look better than Dylan. Shaduer to be better than Dart. Shaduer to be better than Tyler Shaw. All three of them went to the Manning Passing Academy. And what is the kid that the Browns are committed to? The Manning kid. You see, I told you their name keep popping up. You can't ignore that. You just can't ignore that. Yeah, you should never ignore that. That is not a coincidence. I believe that, Nola girl. Facts. What's that, Queen T? It said the Steelers gave away the game. It said Shaduer played okay. The Steelers did not give away the game. Shame on you. I remember you told us you was a Steelers fan. It said Shaduer's in danger under Stefanski. It said he has to get traded. It said we the people are not putting up with no more Stefanski. I know that's right. I like how you said that. We the people are not doing it. It says Shaduer needs to be traded. Agreed. I heard they want Tom Telesco. He is the reason why the Raiders are so messed up. Oh, wow. Oh, is that the other guy that was on the photo? Okay. It said blessed. It said Gage possibly was offered money to drop balls. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. It said I always felt Rizzo was scripted. Thank you. I have tried to tell people. I'm like, you know what? You can do whatever you want to. But that man know exactly what's going on. When he started talking about Peyton Manning and they was out there tracking the Manning kid, and then you got Haslam popping up over there at Ohio State in Texas, I said, that's when I knew. I said, that man know exactly what's going on. So what did he say recently? Yeah, I think Shaduer ought to go head on and move on. What, you just want him to get up and pack up his stuff and go? Why he didn't call for a trade? You don't think it's weird? Nobody in the media, man, Shaduer did good. All you hear is, yeah, Shaduer's the QB1. Yep, he is. On what team? And what team is that? What team is that? All you hear is, yeah, Shaduer's good. Yeah, he's doing good. I think he's the guy. For what team? And are they gonna want to win with Shaduer as QB1 next year? Are they still pining away for the Manning kid? Yes, the answer is yes. Let me still trade Isaiah Bond, and then I'll think maybe not. This kid came in late. He a rookie, not a vet. They got LeJounte behind DeAndre. That's his name, DeAndre. I'll forget his last name, but him. They got LeJounte, who's a rookie, behind DeAndre Hopkins. Why? Because he can learn from him. And then DeAndre, when his contract is up, which is like this year or next year, LeJounte the man. They gave that. They gave that. Now remember the little guy, Andre Carter, that got the number 2 jersey. He's still on IR. He been on IR the whole season. I'm like, what the hell happened to him? Because I'm pretty sure his job was just to hold on to the number 2 the whole season and watch they cut him. But they got Isaiah Bond already at the starting wide receiver. I said, I see what's going on here. Okay, that's his buddy from school. Jerry Jeudy gonna get moved out. And when the Manning kid come, guess who his main wide receiver will be? Guess who he gonna be sharing the locker with? Right. That's it. When I see the Browns move on from that, then I'll be okay. But as long as that exists, and he didn't even go to camp. Yes, they stole his money, but he could get some more. And they probably did that. So don't nobody else get him. Because think about it. I'm not going to be making all these trades to get you, and I got to get the Manning kid. So I bet $10 he gonna end up with a Brock Purdy contract as a wide receiver, just like Quinn Ewers. Stefanski needs to go away. Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's something about Rizzo. I don't trust him. He's too overzealous. Right? He's performing. That's he know everything. That man knows everything. Remember, they were the ones putting the tracker together. I'm like, how do you work in the same building with the people putting the tracker together, and you out here saying you a Shaduer fan, but you don't call them out for putting the tracker with Shaduer at the bottom, and you not? I'm like, no, no. I totally agree. Rizzo's a plant. It said people Shaduer will not be traded. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. We always have to have room for the unexpected. We always have to have room for the unexpected because he wasn't supposed to get to QB1. It was only supposed to be 4 games. How many games has he played? Is it 6? Or is it 7? Is it 6 or 7? Hell, he wasn't supposed to win none of them. But Stefanski does need to win one more game. Yeah. We always got to make room for the unexpected. But they know they need a quarterback for next year. The fans don't like Dylan, and they're not finna test them waters. Now, they might bring him back to camp and lie to the fans and say he got better, but I bet they feel the same way, especially with Shaduer on the ground. So they might just run the whole season back again, splitting up. They're going to get a veteran quarterback. He going to get Flacco's time. Dylan going to get some time. Shaduer going to get some time. And then the Manny Key going to get drafted. Let's see what the fans and the unexpected guys say about that. It said Cleveland is a farm club. It said no more. It's the place where players come to show other teams their skills, then move on to much greener pastures. I can see that. I mean, I can kind of see that. It said all the Brown players have to have PTSD. Why you say that? It said until the Manning kid flamed out, they stopped. Yeah, they stopped tracking. They sure did. It said, I don't think Shaduer is getting traded either. He might not. I mean, his contract is easy. And you would think you hear scenarios. The fact that you don't hear scenarios tells you there's still a moratorium on him. It's as if the 32 overlords went to the NFL because they own 10% of ESPN. They went to ESPN and said, don't bring up no trade scenarios. Let's remember, we don't bring up no trade scenarios for Shaduer because people going to push for it and we don't want to have to fight. So just don't even mention it. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. The fact that nobody's talking about it, that's just weird. Shaduer put up 393 yards. He a franchise quarterback. He a QB1, and nobody talks about. Damn, he could. This team need a quarterback. This team, you don't hear that. But Malik Willis, oh, he could go here. He could go there. Yeah, they even talked about Malik Willis can go to Atlanta. Anywhere there's a black quarterback, that's the way they want to send Malik Willis. And you don't think they have a problem with black quarterbacks? Come on now. So they're gonna take somebody else's job. The fans in Cleveland will have to demand that Kevin goes. It said, don't buy them season tickets. They will fire him. They will fire him then. Watch. That is interesting. And it is that time of year. Why would they want Manning? He sucks. They don't care about that last name. We need to stay on Jimmy D. Haslam and social media. We can't even get Stefanski can't even get fired. Like he said, he privileged to have this job. No QB in the 2026 projected draft class has Shaduer skill set. Facts. It said, good evening, fam. Hit the like button. I want to know what veteran they going to get. Like they had Flacco right after CU. So after all of the pro days, let's see who they signed as a veteran. Because that's when they already had Pickett in the trade. So they traded DTR to Philadelphia. Now, they could trade Shaduer to Philly because, Jalen Hurts is the man over there. I could see it. That's what happened to DTR. They could do that because they dirty enough to do it. They dirty enough to do it. Let's see what happens because they're going to end up with a veteran. I just don't know who it's going to be. I said Mac Jones. That's what I say. I wish the Browns would trade Shaduer, right, so he can move on and have a team committed to him. Instead, every plan they laid has come to naught. It said God is showing himself strong. None of their plans will work, right? And yet they have not stopped. I totally agree with that. I'm like, y'all arrogant. It says Stefanski is not going to lose that job. He's the perfect coach for that losing culture that has long been established in Cleveland. He is not going to lose that job. He might not. He might not because they showed talking him up. It said Gage is an undrafted rookie. He's learning. That could be it, TK. So for the people that mention Gage, I say he is an unwilling asset. That's the term I use, meaning he was never that good. So they know that. It said, yes, I worked at medical claims. It said Watson can't play this year. It said I wouldn't approve that claim past 2 years. So good luck in 2026. I would not approve that claim. He can play 2 years past his surgery date. Okay. Okay, 2 years. Okay. It said when they won the game, people got upset because it messed up the draft. I think the players are tired of that. Right. That's why Myles Garrett, like, look here, we're not laying down for that. Like, no. And people are saying that if the Steelers lose to the Ravens, I might be live during that game. If I have it, I got to see if I have it because I want to see that. If the Steelers, it depends on who the quarterback is. Because if it's Huntley, they might not win that game. The Ravens, because I think that's why Lamar Jackson not even allowed to play. All of this manipulating of the players with these fake injuries is just crazy, right? And some of the injuries might be real, but they done healed up by now. Like this is just ridiculous. Remember, Stefanski wouldn't let Shaduer play. Shaduer said, "I mean, I'm fine." I think when they hit him in the back, they were trying to do him like they did Lamar. They were trying to take Shaduer out for this last game. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. We are going to see. It said the problem they have is that fans want Shaduer. It said, did y'all notice how those fans were going crazy when Shaduer went out with his pinky in the game? Yes, that was crazy. CBS was like, no, hold on. And they was like, they gonna tear it down. I'm like, they gonna tear it down. So in my opinion, the unexpected, the pressure, that's unexpected because they're not used to their fans being like this. They assumed that they could control the fan base. That's really what they thought. They never thought the fan base would like Shaduer. They thought whatever we tell the fans to like is what the fans like. That's why the media be going at it so hard because they feel like they can lie to the fans and they'll believe anything. That's how they felt. Where are them Dylan fans at? I wonder how many of them Dylan jerseys they actually sold. I don't know. This is kind of weird. The fans, when Shaduer came out the tunnel, you know how for the game they brought out a couple of players and Shaduer, they love that kid, man. I watched Bucky was filming and the people on the side, somebody wanted Bucky to sign something. Oh, they had Simone Biles as a guest NFL photographer for the week. You know, I told you they keep rotating and they keep getting black people. They had a white person too. Somebody had a white person, but that's something y'all gonna see more of that they're doing, like bringing out your faves. So they had Simone Biles at the Chicago game. I was just happy to see Simone Biles, but pay attention. That's gonna be something you see all the time. It said, I still want to know what Stefanski whispered in Tomlin's ear at the end of the game. It was a long encounter. I don't know. Get somebody to read lips, Bridget. It said the 14 million. Yep. It said Manning will be on the team just in time for the new stadium. That is facts. That is facts. And they're going to write that name all the way in there. All the way in there. Complexion for the protection. Absolutely. It said, I didn't know he was benched. It said they talking him up like he played the full game. Who we talking about, TK? It said, talk about DEI participation awards for Tyler Shaw and Jackson Dunn. That's all it is. They want to talk about DEI is dead. I'm like, no, it ain't. It just went from helping white women to helping white men. I'm like, no, it ain't. I'm like, whatever. It said, Shaduer is must-see TV. Absolute facts. Absolute facts. It said, I only watch Shaduer. I'm going to have to follow some of these other highlights. It said, the way my work schedule is, I can't watch the full games. Okay, that makes sense. Just watch the highlights. Yeah, just watch the highlights. It said, all I've been hearing is Dart, not heard. Is Dart, not heard of Tyler kid. Not heard of the Tyler kid. None this season. That's because he only played 9 games and they trying to quickly get him up there. Who won Rookie of the Week last week? I'm going to look it up. Because you see, they don't talk about that. We knew about Shaduer. They started Shaduer late and gave him the toughest stretch. Rookie of the Week. What was this? Week 15? Week 16. Week 16. Week 16. Rookie of the Week. Week 16. Ashton Jeanty. That Ashton Jeanty's name is up there for Rookie of the Year. It's Ashton Jeanty, Ted McMillan. Is it Travion Henderson or something like that? Let me tell y'all who it is. Hold on one second. So, see, Tyler Shaw hadn't even won Rookie of the Week, and they trying to give him Rookie of the Year with 9 games. the easiest stretch of games and propped up games with check downs and largely uncontested catches. You know why you see Shaduer highlights? Because they're excited and they contested catches. Like they catch with 44. People said Harold Fannin Jr. shifted to get the ball. Ain't nobody around when they go to catch the ball. It's like they have a meeting every time they play one of these games that he been playing. Look here, just don't pressure him, and don't worry about getting the ball. Don't worry about it. It's disgusting to watch. That's why ain't nobody talking about that game. What is that? I'm like, they took him out because they hadn't scored and put Taysom Hill in it. And I didn't want to talk about it. He came back in the second half. I said, you know what? I saw the first half, and I don't give a damn. I'm not watching this because he had to be taken out the game because he didn't score. And y'all want to make him offensive rookie of the year. Hell no. He didn't even play a full season. And I said, there are more deserving players out here. Ashton Jetty. Take all of the rookies of the weeks. He ain't on that list. Why would he get that before them? No. But they're going to try to give it to him. And you know why? They're going to steal it from Tech. They're going to steal it from Ashton Jetty and the other kid. Because, well, damn, we drafted Dart and Shaw before Shedeur, and neither one of them like that. Right. So what are they trying to prove? That the Saints are still trying to prove that they were right and not drafted Shedeur. The NFL is trying to prove that they were right. And there's no way to justify taking Shedeur off that board. Absolutely not. And pushing him out the first round and the second and the third and the fourth. They knew how good he was, so they pushed him all the way. They was going to make him an undrafted free agent. They was going to break him as a person just so he don't come into the league and elevate the gameplay. All them Christmas jerseys, I only saw one jersey that belonged to a different player, and that was Caleb Williams and this little white kid. That was it. That was it. Everything else was Shedeur Sanders. It's sad out here, bro. It's sad out here. I'm like, you know what? People get tired of y'all rigging everything. When we see it, then they gonna get tired of it. They gonna let you know. It said they think he's their bridge, but the players play for him, right? The players like playing for Shaduer. They would be sad if he go, because then they're gonna be stuck with Dylan. Now they gonna trade somebody. I think they're gonna get a vet in. They might keep Dylan because I don't know where he could go. The moment you hear the big box channels talking about a trade scenario for Shaduer, and they, you know how they be contemplating, oh yeah, he can go, then he could be traded. But if you don't ever hear that, and you don't ever hear the Browns talking about that, he can't be traded. And it's a shame, but they probably gonna do that his entire career unless they get tired. It said winning costs money. Look at what my Bears did. We have to have a culture of losing. It said we didn't have a culture of losing. It said Cleveland wants something for nothing. That's not how it works. I agree. They cheap with it. I agree. They try to get their best people. Like they got Mason Graham before they got a quarterback. Mason Graham ain't like that, but he is white. Carson Swetzinger, they got him, but he good, right? You could have got Quinn Ewers. Shaduer proved he's a top 5 QB and only a rookie. It said the Browns screwed up so bad. It said didn't draft Travis Hunter, then get Shaduer. It said then they wasted 1 year not playing Shaduer. I agree. I totally agree. They wasted the whole season. That's why I said don't be surprised they run it back next year and do the same thing, because they got to figure out if Shaduer is the bridge. See, gone are the days that you gonna bury Shaduer behind Dylan. That ain't happening. Matter of fact, the moment Dylan put his toe on that field, it's going to be bedlam around there. They don't care. The fans not having it. That's why they activated Bailey Zapp. And he didn't even get to play. So I don't know. Maybe he's going to play next week. I don't know what's going to happen with that. You better off trading Dylan and put him on the practice squad and keeping Bailey Zapp because, Dylan ain't going to work. So I don't see the two of them being on the same roster. And if you know you want the Manning kid and you got Dylan because he wasn't good, and by the time the Manning kid come, he going to look better because he better than Dylan, what you going to do with Shaduer? Because you can't let Shaduer go out here and ball out for a year and get them to the playoffs, because yeah, they will be in the playoffs. And then, all right, well, we're gonna trade him to Vegas because we want to get the Manny kid, and then they go back to Dylan. That's not gonna work. They got to figure out something. They either got to abandon the effort for the Manny kid because it's gonna take too long, and Shadeur's contract. See, it's hard for them. Shadeur's contract is $975,000 for the first year. That was this year, so they had to pay that. Next year is about the same, just a little bit more. Understand, I don't want to trade a player that's a quarterback. Quarterbacks make 60, 70. Josh Allen made $330 million. Divide that up on the life of his contract. What's that, 60 million? Quarterbacks make 60. He a veteran now. But yes, he's still on a rookie deal. And he got a sweet rookie deal if you ask the finance office. The money people like, shit, we ain't finna trade him. He go, where we gonna trade him to? In our division, and he gonna turn around and beat us, and the fans gonna, where we gonna trade him to? Where Josh Allen is, and he gonna beat Josh Allen that we paid $330 million? Josh Allen just lost to Jalen Hurts. What we gonna send Shaduer over there with the teams that don't have no black quarterbacks, like with the Rams, the Chargers? They ain't gonna do that. Where you gonna send him to? Oh, I know where you're gonna send him. You're gonna send him up there with the team that have black QB1s and black QB2s. Philadelphia, the Washington Commanders, the Dallas Cowboys, and we ain't heard that come up yet, but that's still a possibility. And who's the other one? The New York Giants. The chances of Shaduer ending up in New York, don't see that happening. But Washington, I can see it. What did they say? Yeah, Jaden Daniels, he get injured a lot. I'm like, and so does Joe Burrow and JJ McCarthy, and you don't have nothing to say, so shut up. Washington. Philadelphia behind Jalen Hurts. Because they don't want to extend his contract. They're going to want to move on from him. I don't care how many Super Bowl he wins. That's what they're going to do. Don't forget, Andrew Berry's brother worked in Philadelphia. The Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about that. Okay. Now that's gonna be one of them trades. It's just gonna wake up one morning. Shaduer has been traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Do not forget, they had another sucky season. Dallas did. They already trying to move off of Dak, but they got that contract, and Jerry Jones already said Dak ain't the future. And they got Joe Milton, who has the same rookie sweet deal, according to the finance department, as Shaduer. And I have said it is easy to swap Shaduer with somebody like that because you don't take on no more expense, but then you get a better player. Shaduer is better than Joe Milton. You get a franchise QB for the next 3 years, and you only got to pay him on average $1 million a year because he probably don't even have no incentives. $3 million for the next 3 years total. And we could go to the playoffs. Dallas, Washington, Philadelphia. They cannot push Shaduer in New York behind Dart. That would start World War III. That ain't gonna never happen. But that is where they could send him. Because if he go to Philly, he not gonna play. And I'm talking about the overlords doing. Because that's how they think it. If he go to Washington, he might not play. But it don't cost us much. And Magic Johnson is over there. He's an astute businessman when it comes to sports. And Dallas, Jerry Jones, who waited until the Nebraska game ended to sign Dak. Yep. Whatever conference that is the most likely one. Let's see if I'm right. All right, we're going to get ready to get ourselves out of here. It is 256 of us. This was an excellent conversation. An excellent conversation. Thank y'all for sharing your greatest accomplishments. We can keep this going in the comments. It said anyone who knows football knows Arch Manning can't carry Shaduer Louis bag. I totally agree. Shaduer said he wanted to get his bags back. I know he didn't want to get his bags back. He said all of his bags were stolen. I'm like, I wonder if one of them bags gonna surface up on the internet somewhere. You know, I can see the scenario. It was stolen and fenced and sent somewhere else, and somebody unknowingly to them taking pictures with it on the internet. And they got more than, because if you got two, of his bags and it pop up on the internet, then they're gonna go right to you and they're gonna ask you, where you get this bag from? Mm-hmm. That's how things happen. People who see, that's why I don't buy hot shit. I don't even fool with it. I'm like, don't bring that nowhere near me. True story. There's a man who unfortunately unalived this woman. I feel like it was St. Louis. He was black, apparently, and the woman was white, and they took her purse. Kid you not. They took her purse. He sold the purse and possibly the content to a friend of his. The friend goes and pawns it. So I don't know. The police somehow they stay tapped in with the pawn shops. He had a computer. That's what it was. It wasn't her purse. They stole her purse and her laptop. He sold the laptop to just a guy that he knew. Man, I got this laptop. You want to buy it? He don't know where it come from. He buys it. Then he wipes it clean up apparently and uses it or whatever. Then somehow something ends up in the pawn shop. They track it back from the pawn shop to this. Because, you know, they can use contact tracing to see the day that the item was pawned, who was coming and going that day, right? And they got cameras in pawn shops so they can see who pawned it. Come to find out, the guy that committed the crime admitted that his friend that got arrested, and he got life, and I think he got executed. He said, that guy wasn't with me when this happened. I just sold that to him. You know what they said? They don't care. You know what they said? We can't understand that why he would even have her purse or her laptop or whatever. So they thought the guy that actually did it was lying and covering for the guy, but they didn't do nothing to the actual guy. They got the guy that had the stolen item. I don't do hot shit. And that's why. I mean, I was already like that before, but that's always a reminder. When people sell you stuff at the gas station, you don't know where the shit came from. You don't know where that came from. So, you know, you got to be careful out here, right? With people wanting to sell you a few Louis bags. Oh, man, I got like 12 Louis bags. Or, you know, I got a Goyard bag. And then you buy 2 or 3 of them. You're going to give it to your girlfriend. You know she going to be on the internet with it. Oh, I got this and I got this. It's a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. And all of these luxury bags have serialized information where most people don't even know to look. Just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. All right. So, because you know, if it was somebody in Cleveland, it would have been popped up by now. Because Cleveland is not a big place. It's just not, right? So it's just a matter of time. But y'all go show Shaduer some love. I gave out the address 3 times. I'm gonna give it out one more. He put his mailing address online. If you don't trust it, go to his Instagram stories. It's on there. It addressed it to Shedeur Sanders, Post Office Box 6088, Cleveland, Ohio 44101. And go check his page just to make sure, but that's what it is. All right, I'm gonna get myself out of here. I'm gonna get a copy of that book, How to Deal with Difficult People, for Shedeur Sanders. That's gonna be the gift from What She Said Sports. So he can thrive in the NFL and learn at the tender age of 23 how to maneuver con artists, because that's who he worked with. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching What She Said Sports. I'll be back tomorrow at some point, but for sure at 10:35 p.m. Now on Wednesday, I'm probably not going to be live Wednesday night, so I'll probably be live in the daytime. Other than that, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Have a good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. And we can continue the conversation in the regular comments, right? See you later.